We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I promise I'll never sing again. Hey, everybody. It's me. It's Michael B. And tonight's going to just be a fun hangout. You guys can ask me whatever the hell you want, and I'll answer whatever the hell I can. Hope you guys are ready to have a festive and wonderful holiday season. This is Chill and Chat with Michael B. Whoa!
There he is.
Nick of time, right?
We were just a little bit short coming on, guys. I want to introduce you to two of my oldest. Well, I don't want to say you're old, but you're not like me with not gray beards anymore. Stu has the most gray hair now, probably. But anyways, two of my nearest and dearest friends from the YouTube world, Mr. Dude 206 and Chris, Weekend Game Guy. And I just thought it'd be fun to hang out with them tonight. Talk about some retro gaming stuff. Talk about our favorite retro gaming Christmas memories. Maybe our least favorite retro gaming Christmas memories. Talk about what we're hoping to get this Christmas. I know we're like 40-year-old men, so I don't know if you still hope to get gifts, if that's a thing, or now it's more sharing like games with your kids. We can talk about that, and whatever the hell anybody wants to talk about in the chat, we'll talk about that too. How does that sound?
Sounds perfect.
I do want to just take a quick minute to apologize. Let me bring up the comments here, and we got lots of cool people. Where is Alyssa Milano? She'll be here later, Tim. She'll be here later. I'll tell you guys about that in a minute. But we would have been on time. We weren't on time. We would have been on time. We got a new member here. Todd Cottrell, thank you so much for joining the Michael B. Only Flans. That's my membership for my channel. I don't know if I've ever told you guys that.
It's all desserts.
It's all desserts.
Mm-hmm. Jello.
So we're a little bit late. The reason why was we were waiting to get ready, and me and Stu were here, Mr. Do 206, but Chris was nowhere to be found. And then he writes us and said, sorry, guys, fell in the shower. I'll explain later. Now seems like a good time to explain, Chris. What happened?
So the floor in the shower was particularly slick.
Because of the water.
I guess. I'm hoping.
Water makes things
it's usually sticky, but
why would it be sticky?
But no. So I was maneuvering to get my soap, and when I don't know, man, it was like a cartoon, and I couldn't get my footing, and down I went, and I took the whole shower curtain and everything down with me. I hit my hip on the side there. It was not fun.
That could have been bad, man.
It could have. When me and Lara lived in their apartment while she was away at law school, I fell out of the shower one morning getting ready for work, and it was hella bad because it's one of those little apartment bathrooms where you have your bath shower, then right next to it you have toilet, and then you have sink all lined up. So I fell out of the shower, landed back first across the toilet, and then hit my head off the sink. So like we're talking the holy trinity of everything. I hit everything on the way down.
No, I just fell on my hip this time. I've fallen before in there and twisted an ankle, but that's okay.
Just need to wear a helmet before you take a.
I need to get those sticky things. the
Did I mention that shit like a couple of times ago? Well, sorry, Mike, for the S word, by the way.
Oh no, that's okay. I've lessened my restriction on curse words. I can say poo poo and caca now.
So I'm full on. I could just fully send.
No, we're still PG-13. One F-bomb per show.
Quentin Tarantino movie.
Okay. Deal.
King Midas, life alert can save your life. I'm getting up there, man. I'm gonna be 41. I am 41. So yeah, I'm up there. I'm almost time.
Almost time for what? Oh, are you
gonna... Life alert.
And
if I don't stop eating the burgers, right?
You'll get discounts though. The AARP discount. You get senior discount at movies, Goodwills, whatever.
Free coffee.
Yeah. What is that?
Free coffees.
Oh yeah, free coffee. Senior, quarter coffee.
I got you. Hold on.
You get a discounted coffee. You don't get a free coffee. Discounted coffee.
I mean, you can get a free coffee if you talk to them right.
Yeah,
that's the key, right? The older you get, you learn how to talk right.
Yes,
which is grumpy. So
I can see
Grumpy.
Chris doing. I can see Chris doing that. Give my damn coffee.
no, not so much me. I'm way more passive than that. I'm more inclined
Yeah.
to just be like, no, it's okay. I'll pay full price. It's all right.
Oh,
So Tim's back with another good comment again. Soon we will all be retro. And you know what the funny thing about that is? When we started doing this, the PlayStation 3 was a brand new console.
Yeah.
And technically it's retro now, right? PlayStation 3 games?
Technically.
is that 20 plus years? 25
I
or what are we
don't know what
considering
I don't know what the provision is.
that
Usually
age
I
to
go
be?
2 generations back is what my equivalent is for retro.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual number is, but yeah, that I would, yeah. Someone came here the other day. A friend of ours came and visited, and I've got I've moved it now, but I had my PlayStation 3 set up so I could stream from it if I wanted to.
Yep.
Back when I did that,
Mhm.
and it's still sitting here. And he's like, they're like on the 5 now. I'm like, well, okay, you gonna buy me one? So
Oh,
yeah,
PlayStation 3.
yeah, still works too. Mine does.
Do you have the first generation that can also play PlayStation 2 games? Or
No, I don't. I've got the
Yeah.
next one in mind.
Yeah.
I've got a Model 1 PlayStation 2 PlayStation 3 that can play the PlayStation 2 games. It's just effed in the B. So my wife fried it one night. We had a case. What do you call it? Like a shelf that your TV goes on, TV shelf, and it had closed doors. And she was watching a DVD in the PlayStation 3 and then closed the doors, so it just overheated
itself inside.
Yeah, my brother fixed it for a while, but
Only lasts so long.
Well, that's back when everything needed to be a multimedia player. Now, like, do a lot of people even play Blu-rays on their PlayStation 5s and Xbox, whatever the hell it's called now, versus streaming
everybody
applications?
streams. Everybody streams.
I know very few people that use. And I bought a separate Blu-ray player for movies, for physical media, but most people I know stream.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be something to the longevity of Nintendo, because they don't play around with that. They don't bother with that. Their consoles last forever because they don't bother with that stuff.
Oh,
Nintendo's like, you want really, really good graphics and stuff like that? Nope. How about these goddamn waggle controls? Sure.
Every generation they have some new deal.
Yeah, I'll never forget when they were first announcing Star Fox Zero on the Wii U, and everybody was really excited about it. They were like, oh, this is finally going to be the Star Fox 64 successor we've been waiting for. And I was like, oh, look at Miyamoto going with that goddamn gamepad. You know it's going to have waggle controls.
Well,
Mean Guns 68 says 8 years is considered retro. However, not everyone considered this retro. 10 or more years by some people is considered retro. I know some people that only consider retro what they experienced growing up. Like even like PlayStation 2, they'll say not retro. But I mean, come on.
right.
Yeah.
No, it's so weird. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know how you can update your storage for your PlayStation 3 to a bigger drive without losing everything, Prince Malcolm. But what I did find out this past year, Mr. Dude 206 has got you covered. Anyways, what I did find out last year, I don't know if I told you guys this. I was playing through Legend of Legia on the PlayStation. Did I say that right? Legend of Legia?
Legaia?
Legend of Legaia. So I was playing through Legend of
Legia's,
Legaia.
I like that better.
Legia? Is that Legia?
It is Legaia, I think. But anyways, I was playing through Legend of Legaia on the PlayStation 1, actually on the physical disc on my PlayStation 3. And I had just loaded PlayStation, ROMs, copies of games I actually had to my Raspberry Pi. And I said, you know what? It actually looks better on the Pi. I think I want to play it there. I figured out a way to take the save file off my PlayStation 3 and load it into my Raspberry Pi and continued my game from there. I'm somewhat of a scientist.
Well, that PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 adapters, like $30 to $50 for that specific reason. They probably made some cheap Chinese knockoff, but I remember the official PlayStation when they came out. It's pretty not hard to come by, but it's more expensive to do that. But you're a genius for doing that, Mike. Props.
So there's a guy here in the chat. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. A guy by the name of Kid Shoryuken.
I'm not familiar.
Never heard of him.
Not familiar.
Jim. Oh, Jim. It's Jim, guys.
I don't know.
Big Jim.
Sounds like a jerk. Sounds like a
Probably,
jerk.
maybe.
Some
Nah,
jerk.
Jim knows what I like. He knows all
Yeah.
about
What's up,
some
Jim?
of my darker secrets.
Oh.
Look, I was on
PS2
his show back in the day, and we had a quality conversation. You can imagine where that descended to.
Oh yeah,
I was
Jim's-
in full mode, full me mode.
Mitch Girl, it's Jim from Tokyo. Yes, Jim from Tokyo. That's the guy.
Indeed.
So, Mean Guns is saying PS2 is retro now. It's 20 years ago.
Holy crap!
Where did time go, right?
Holy crap!
Mm-hmm. Yep. DVD players and PS2 and the bouncer and what other release titles they had.
The bouncer. That's the one you're going to go to. Of all
Yeah.
games, that's the one.
It's Stu. What are you gonna do?
It's his favorite game.
What other PS2 launch titles were there?
I don't know what the launch titles are.
Launch titles, there was very limited. There was
Eco?
sports games. There was Eco was there. Yeah, Eco was a launch.
That was a
game.
good game.
Summoner was there. You also had the Madden 01 and NHL 01 here in Canada. Yeah, it
Quite
wasn't
the
it wasn't a good launch lineup.
I think it was more about that DVD player.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
why I
much.
bought it.
Yep.
I bought it. I bought mine the day I bought it used, and I bought a stack of DVDs. No games.
I
was
was
cheap to buy that.
I was so excited to get my PlayStation 2. I bought the PlayStation 2, Hockey, Summoner, and took it all home. And I said, great. Watched 2 DVDs and then played Chrono Cross for like 17 hours.
Well, also it did have the true backwards compatibility with the PS2 and the PS1.
Yeah.
That was a good thing because everyone, wanted to carry their stuff over. Because this is back when we were doing like the 16-bit and 8-bit consoles, and nothing really crossed over from there. So when they went to disc media, then you can actually do all that.
That's not necessarily true. You know the difference there. If you buy a converter for your Sega Genesis,
They didn't have that back then, man.
they had the Master Drive converter for your Genesis. Master System converter.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know. I didn't have money.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's talk about some of our favorite childhood Christmas gaming memories. So, is there anything that really sticks out to you, like from your gaming history, that you remember waking up Christmas morning, getting a specific something, and just being like, "This is the tops, man."
I don't know about tops, but it was decent. My brother got me a complete copy of Mortal Kombat 3 and Donkey Kong 2 for Super Nintendo, which was
Nice.
pretty cool. Yeah.
I've got two memories. It was the year that we got all right, remember, you guys know, your audience might not, but my household rule was you did not get a new game till you beat the old game, right? So the games that we got for Christmas that year were Ghosts and Goblins and Back to the Future.
Game over, man. Game over. Just really quickly, $2 super chat from How to Bachelor for Jim's presence. Love that guy. Everybody loves Jim. He's kind of the best.
And then the other story is the first and only time I ever kind of snooped and saw Christmas presents before I was supposed to was the year I got the Genesis.
Oh yeah,
My Genesis. The only time I ever snooped, and then I was like, "Oh no!" And I felt so bad, so bad.
I did the Snoop one year, the year my mom surprised me with the Sega CD, and we didn't expect it at all. And I was really, really, really excited, but sad I found it, because what a cool surprise that would have been.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to fake it. I had to fake the.
You're like, oh my god,
Sega CD. Who would have thunk?
Oh, geez.
What does this even do?
Did you actually play it, like open it and play it, and then rewrap it up and do all that good stuff, or what?
No. The funny thing was my friend Dave was also getting a Sega CD, and he was less concerned about his parents being upset, so we just went over to his place and opened it up. We were like, oh my god, Sewer Shark! This is the best game ever.
Nice.
Wow. Wow.
I still love Sewer Shark. You guys know that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you did a review on it, right?
I did. Yeah, long time ago.
Yeah, aeons ago.
Yeah, about 9 years. It ended up being the
It's like, oh my
It just
god.
blows my mind
I
whenever
know, right?
numbers come out. Like he's like, what?
It was the RetroWare. It actually got the review of the week, that video of the week that review did too. Yeah, over GameSack. I was going head to head with GameSack on RetroWare TV to get the video of the week. I think they've done a little bit better since then.
A little bit.
A
little bit.
Yeah, I miss Classic Game Room back then too. Classic Game Room.
Pardon?
Oh yeah, Classic Game Room. Yeah.
Classic Game Room. I'm just saying the way back when there were so many just retro gaming freaking channels around, there was a lot. And they just
I used to like
changed.
the Classic Game Room.
I think a lot of people got burned out though. Like, do you know what I mean? Even the ones that were successful to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of pressure, and then as you know, the market for things changed. It's hard to keep doing it.
I don't know how to do the conversion on this, Jim, but thank you very much for the 1,000 yen. $10, Jim. You're the best.
Well, Canadian, so that's probably $10.50.
This is the first time this has happened. I'm very excited. It's my first yen. Thank you, Jim.
You got them all moist, Jim. You got them all moist.
Moist is really not a good word.
But it's not a bad word. It would not be censored, so it's okay.
It's a very descriptive word. Moist.
It sounds. What is that onomatopoeia where it sounds like?
Is that where you can say a word backwards and it's the same thing?
No, it's where it sounds like the thing, like pop and crunch and
moist
shit. Moist kind of sounds wet. Don't it?
I know crunch. I mean crunch.
Yeah, but moist. That sounds wet.
So, what was the first system you guys actually had? Let's move away from the moist conversation just a little bit. What was the first conversation you guys actually had growing up?
Conversation? Well, the first conversation.
First console. I don't remember. I was pretty young.
I'm pretty sure I was called a shithead at some point in that conversation.
Yeah, something.
First console you had growing up?
2600. Atari 2600.
You had a 2600, yeah?
Yep.
I'd say Game Boy was the first one. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So neither of you guys started with the NES. That's where I started. That's the first thing I got.
No, we were poor. Mine was a hand-me-down.
That's just making it rain, Mike.
What do you guys always make me feel bad?
As he sits in front of a wall of $800.
Man, Mike, you enjoy whatever. Hey man, some of the best friendships are built on bitterness, so we got to give you credit, right? I mean,
he's right.
Yeah. So screw it. But you had a Nintendo was given to you during Christmas. Was that when you meant?
That was your birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got it for my birthday. I actually never got it for my birthday. I wanted it, and my dad refused. No, he didn't steal it. He did not want me to get into video games because he was afraid that I wouldn't go outside the house. Like, you remember, it's the 80s, right? It's a weird time. You're concerned about your kids being too bookish or weird. So, like, you don't want them to stay in. You want them to be going out and stuff like that. So he was really concerned about that. So what I had to do was I had to save up my allowance for like a year and then give it to my parents to get the NES for my birthday. So technically I bought it myself. I know it sounds weird.
The allowance, though. Did you do chores and stuff around the house, or no?
Nah, man. I just got money every week. They just gave me money every week. So
that's great.
I got like $1 a week, and all I do
I think I got a beating every week.
Oh, and, limited edition.
A good childhood.
Yeah.
It's not just edition. Not just Chris's background that's dark, man. It's his life.
It's true. My therapist is always like, "What? Oh, you've stepped into something at that point." Like, no.
Anyways,
did you just go now?
So I got an NES for my birthday, but that Christmas we had a pretty good Christmas. You got to remember the games were almost as much as the system, and like my mom went to town that year. I got Mega Man 2 that very first year, and that was just, what a first Christmas, right?
Oh yeah, and what a game to start with, right?
Yeah. So that was the first Christmas. I can't remember what else we got. I think we got like Anticipation for some reason. I think it was cheap. And like Byway, so my mom just bought it.
That's a great game.
And
graphics, I mean, man.
And my mom bought my brother Air Fortress. You ever play that?
Played that. That game also sucks.
I I have played that game.
I think they were just cheap at this like kind of like half thrift store we had here called what was it? Byway. Yeah, Byway. So you could go there. They always had like these cast off games that didn't sell well in the major retailers, so they just pass them off to Byway. Prince Malcolm here. Prince Malcolm's a great guy, very involved in the IRK community. The 80s parents, video games will rot your brain. There was that, but my dad was also terrified because he read a report, and I don't know if you guys remember this, that the NES was causing burn-in on CRT TVs, the old TVs.
Oh.
So, like, you'd have stuff like The Legend of Zelda, and if you had to pause for hours with the heart up on the screen, the heart would end up. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Back in the 80s with the whole rot your brain, there's that whole thing where video games were evil and blah, 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 blah. And it was just so much violence. But this is the same era where they had all those freaking hack and slash movies and horror movies at the same time.
That was one, the other day we were watching some, like, it was, I can't even remember what movie it was. PG-13. Like, well, we watched when we were kids. It's probably okay. And we're like, whoa, 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 whoa. As someone gets decapitated or something, you're like, this doesn't, wait. Ratings were very different then, apparently.
Oh, yeah. I remember it was fine to have on like regular network TV, Lethal Weapon, and like you'd see the girl naked in the first like 15 seconds of the movie. That was fine. That was like a normal thing to have on 80s TV.
RoboCop.
I do remember watching RoboCop on like TBS and then watching RoboCop on Director's Cut and being like, there's Snake Mask.
I know. I'm so excited.
I am too. I was just like, wait, this was very different than what I watched on TBS. There was no melted man getting exploded on a windshield at that version at all.
Yeah. Guys, I think we got to do it. We got to do it for Stank Mask. YouTube.
What's up, Mike?
I miss everybody. I wish everybody was still doing it, like on the reg. You know what I mean? Like the old group when we were younger.
It seems so long ago.
When I was 31 again.
Those YouTubes are a young man's game.
Not a young man's game, not at all.
Mike's still doing it. I mean, Mike, that way or
this Mike?
Way?
Yeah.
That way?
I said it on Super Game Room Dudes, the other podcast I'm on, because they can actually show up every week and they don't have excuse after excuse about not being able to go on.
We just don't want to do it.
Well, that's probably why. So
I got pass.
Anyways, I said it. I said, really, like, I'm a failed YouTuber. Like, I had a shot at doing something. Like, back when I did that Top 10 NES Hidden Gems video, and that, like, took off. Like, I was getting 1,000 subscribers a day. So I could have done something with that. But that was right around the same time Chad passed away. And I just, I got weird. So I didn't really feel like doing it. Yeah, it's a messed up thing, man, when someone you're close with just, like, especially involved in this, kind of, like, goes, like, you don't know what you're gonna do. But I keep them close all the time. I think I showed you this last time.
You did. Yeah, I had some pictures actually come up on my phone from I don't know, I guess I saved screenshots or something to do like Google. Probably thumbnails or something on my phone, like memories, and it came up like I think it was yesterday of us, and it was bittersweet,
Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you this. If I can find it, it's on my old Samsung Note 1 phone. I've actually got an unreleased Newfoundland Game Hunter video I shot with Chad.
Oh, that's awesome.
Going around the mall here, and he went into EB Games looking at stuff.
That was like a 2-hour video.
All Chad's were should be him getting the bus.
Just shuffle, camera in the pocket, all that good stuff.
Amazing,
man. Good times.
Okay, so we'll get back on track, sort of. What about worst gaming Christmas gift? The one you got and you were like, oh God.
Well, in hindsight,
yeah,
Ghosts and Goblins was pretty rough with that rule. Like as a game, it was great. It was great, and oh man, and we busted our ass to beat it, right? Because we were going to get what we gave up on. We got to Lou's Cafe or whatever in Back to the Future. Like, well, we can't. This game's impossible. We can't. This is impossible. No one can beat this game. So we worked on Ghosts and Goblins, and we beat it, or so we thought. and then it sends you back, and we were like, we'll just tell them we beat it. It's fine. It's close enough. They never checked. I don't understand why it mattered, really. Like they never went and checked the end screen or anything like that. But because we finished Battletoads that way.
I like Battletoads.
We got legit good. Me and my brother did, legit beat Battletoads. Yeah.
Wow.
But when the rule like that, you're like, you got to get good.
You have to.
Yeah.
Wow. I still have Battletoads. Everybody says the turbo tunnels is the worst part, but it's not.
No.
That's child play. It's child play compared to where it gets.
That says a lot about how far people get. Yeah. When you get to that, the even harder than turbo tunnel is the part with it's like a peppermint candy chasing you through a tunnel, and you're riding on like a unicycle. That level is freaking hard.
Oh my God. AZ Cowboy 1, you didn't have to do that. Holy God, man. $50 super chat. That's way too much, brother.
He says, Thank you so much. Everyone. So you have to split that, Mike.
Yeah.
All right. We'll split it 45-5. 40 going to Chris.
Sweet.
Thank you so much, AZ Cowboy 1. That is amazing. Thank you.
If you want to, my PayPal is
Chris is going to throw his Venmo up here now, guys.
I don't do Venmo.
OnlyFans.
I don't even know what it is. It's the pay service, isn't it?
It's PayPal, the modern PayPal, and apparently it's better for some reason.
I'm just going to leave this up here. AZ Cowboy 1, thank you so much, brother. I really, really appreciate that. That's crazy. You didn't have to do that.
Very generous.
Todd Cottrell says 45 yen per person.
That doesn't sound too good, I don't think.
That's 4 cents.
Jim, 45 yen is a good deal.
So yours in retrospect, you're sticking with Ghosts and Goblins?
Well, it's one of the few I can remember. Most of the games I got through the years
were traded or
because
borrowed.
one year I got Super Mario Brothers 3. That's definitely not not bad at all, right?
Yeah.
And I got a Game Genie one year, and but most of the time when I got new Nintendo games, it was all through we went to KB Toys and racked up, especially when they were as things were swapping over. I think it's cheap. So I didn't have a lot of bad Christmases in terms of video games. Not really.
Can you imagine this one? Asking for Super Mario Brothers 3. I struggle saying that still. So bad for Christmas, but my mom bought Bayou Billy. Can you imagine?
Are you familiar with the Menendez brothers? I think that's what happened to them. Was they asked for?
Oh, John Hour, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Yes, putting up with the moist comment.
See, it's a great word. Moist.
Moist.
Oh.
They use it to describe cake.
Yes, cake.
Yes.
How else would you describe cake, Mike?
This burger is particularly moist.
I mean, or it was,
I wouldn't say a burger.
Sopping.
I wouldn't say it. Sopping's worse somehow. DJ boy. So Bayou Billy, I still can't play it. People have told me how to play it. It doesn't matter. I'm never gonna. I don't care to.
Just hard.
You guys remember when I had the goal of? Do you remember when I had the goal of collecting all the complete in box Konami games? Right.
Yeah.
And that was one that I got toward the end of and I gave it a go. No.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the Japanese version of Bayou Billy apparently is much, much easier, much more playable. They made the American version harder, which is the complete opposite of every video game ever made. Usually they're the Japanese are Americans. They don't know how to play. Just give them something simple. They are weak. Yeah.
Yeah. No. No. Bayou Billy, not so much.
Then they gave us Mystic Quest.
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Oh my God. It's an RPG for people that hate RPGs.
Easy to read, easy to play, music's good,
Well, I mean, it's still a Final Fantasy. It's just a little too easy.
Yeah, but for a bad Christmas gift, I got Calibri for the 32X. Was a shooter with a hummingbird.
Hummingbird, yeah.
I was like, what is this game? You ever play that, Mike? You look kind of...
No, never played that one.
I was on the brink of reviewing it at one point.
You were what?
But I was going to review it at one point,
Oh, yeah.
way long, 84 years ago.
I mean,
And it was
for what it wasn't bad. It was just that I'm not used to having a shoot 'em up as a hummingbird trying to save the world and
it's
nature and
it's not
like
scrolly.
yeah.
It's like you can go anywhere, and you get lost. I would get lost. I would be like, well, what am I supposed to do? You know, you're supposed to like check out the flowers or whatever, but only certain flowers, and it was weird. It was a weird game.
Frogs would eat you, but I got that and Cosmic Carnage would happen to be a good game. I like Cosmic Carnage.
That's a cool game.
But
that's a cool game.
So you had a 32X.
I had one. Yeah. I bought one from Rose. Roses.
Probably stole it. It was secondhand, Mike. So there you go.
I bought mine from Roses, which was like, I can't even describe what that store is. It's normally not safe to go into. I'll put it that way. And it was like $20, I think.
That's a deal.
Yeah.
Arizona Cowboy 1 knows Echo the Dolphin.
Well, you know, I've had to swallow my pride on that one and admit that you were right.
It's not a good game.
I played through the whole thing and I was like, you know what? Mike's right. This is awful. It seems cool the first level. Like, oh, this is neat. The music's kind of fun. And nope, you get those last levels. You're like, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
Do you guys remember when I first did that Echo the Dolphin review back in the day, and that Echo the Dolphin community found me and went after me, tried to take me down?
Yeah, they're like, "How dare you?"
I don't get it.
They were the original cancel culture. That Echo the Dolphin fan club.
Of all things you could have got canceled for, it was Echo the Dolphin. Who does that?
Like Echo the Dolphin. The reason I say that 32X is like the only thing I didn't have growing up, and I was always so jealous because I had some of those Sega CD games. Like I only had one actually. It was Fahrenheit for Sega CD.
Yeah.
And it came with 2 discs. Remember the Sega CD games came with a blue and yellow on the side spindle on the cases.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the blue version, but it also had the yellow version. I always wanted to try out the 32X version, so it killed me that I couldn't.
It
was marginally better. That's the best way to say it. Marginally better.
You know,
but you can still play it though.
Pardon?
There's 2 discs. There's 2. It would come with both discs. It would be like,
but you just couldn't play it to its maximum capability.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Right. I mean, literally the only thing I ever played on my 32X that I had originally was Star Wars. That was it.
Wow.
The Star Wars that came in the box, and that was it. That's all I ever played. Because by the time I got it, they were way past. They were on the Dreamcast by the time I got it, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
No, they were on the Saturn. Because I pre-ordered a Dreamcast, but because I'm weird.
Stringer Films, what's happening, brother? Still have my 32X, but I never had a Sega CD. Do you still have your special little cable that connects the 32X to the Genesis? Because without that thing is toast.
Useless.
It's useless.
You can sell that cable for more than you can sell the 32X for.
Yeah, it's like right now, people with Virtual Boys, they piece them apart and sell them piece by piece. Like the clip for the stand is worth more than a regular Virtual Boy sometimes. Smitty with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Smitty. My wife mocks my shared passion for games. Say hi to her. Sully's the name. Hi, Sully.
Hello, Sully.
Money to make your illegal.
Scott Gray, you are way too kind, brother. Thank you very much. Money to take your illegal kitten mill legit and start selling kitten calendars. That's not illegal here in Canada. Well, we can do that. Thank you very much, Scott.
What's illegal? Making a what?
Scott always makes fun of me because I'm Canadian for some reason.
Oh, we never do that.
We never make fun of you ever.
Move to New York.
Escape to New York. Not move.
I mean,
Escape.
you could. You would avoid all these shipping things. You get everything available that you wanted, and
so Stringer Films, it's complete with Gen 1 Genesis and works. That's dope. I actually haven't seen many 32Xs plugged into the original Model 1 Genesis. You always see the 32X with the Model 2 Genesis usually. So that's interesting.
There was a spacer that came with it. that you had to hook it on. And
same with the Sega CD, right? The side-loading Sega CD is so weird loaded into the Genesis Model 1 compared to the Model 2. One thing I always wanted and never got, this is probably my collecting holy grail that I missed out on and I'm so sad of, is the fact I never bought a Model 1 Sega CD. And like, I'm not even just talking in the box. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're the most problematic though, right?
Because they had that slot, that in and out slot, as opposed to the clamshell.
Nope.
That's cool though.
I just wanted it because you guys know the way I was. I wanted everything.
All of it.
All of it. What are you collecting, Mike? All of it.
All of the things.
Everything. It's got Mario on it. I want it.
What are you collecting now, Mike?
Arcade 1-up cabinets.
I only have room for 2. This guy has like 18 and pinballs. And
it's funny because people always make fun of me. They're like, "Oh, you buy every cabinet," and I'm like, "You haven't been paying attention to what I've been doing for 10 years, have you?"
They're new.
I was thinking about it the other day. I was looking. I saw one of your Twitter photos, and you have Frogger still. Does that get a lot of gameplay? Is that next on the chopping block?
Yeah, you're right. That is next on the chopping block, but it's not because of the gameplay. I actually do play it a ton. I love Frogger, and I love Tom Pilot. Well, that's one of the things. Like, I've got a lot of love for it because I'm a big Seinfeld fan. But it is next on the chopping block only because, unfortunately, they couldn't do it right. Like, I talked to John D, the guy from Arcade 1-Up, about this. So they've got the wrong music. They can't use the real music for Frogger because it's a nursery rhyme from Japan. So they can't get the rights to it. So Konami changed the music. They refused to work out the licensing for it. Anytime you buy Frogger now, digitally, anywhere, it doesn't have the original music because Konami refuses to pay for it, right?
But you emulate it.
That's why you emulate it. That's what everybody says. Then you also run into the problem where they didn't have the right art on the side panel of the marquee. And the reason why is because even though it's a Konami game, it was actually released in arcades by Sega. So Sega owns the rights to the art. I know, right?
It's so complicated. What a different time. Like, everybody's got a little hand and stuff.
When you play your Turtles, kind of side topic is when you listen to that music at Turtles, doesn't it throw you off too?
No, because it's only slightly changed. That's a weird licensing one. Apparently, the only thing they didn't get was a very specific voice actor didn't get paid, so they had to modify that Heroes in a Half Shell. But they just released a new Turtles cabinet, and that actually has the right voice. That has the right sound. Yeah.
They cut him a check.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
So you got 2 to sell now, Mike.
Yeah, well, they're going to be releasing this is what I'm sussing out. Nothing's official till it's official.
Buckmaster.
This is what I'm sussing out. They are actually releasing a new Mortal Kombat cabinet next year, which is going to be based on the art from Mortal Kombat 1. It's going to be their online cabinet. And the side art is going to be Mortal Kombat 1, except it's not going to have Johnny Cage on the side. Yeah, because basically Johnny Cage ran afoul of, not Johnny Cage, but Daniel Pesina had a big blow up with the Mortal Kombat team. He wasn't in Mortal Kombat 3, and he went on to do that other game. What's it called? Bloodstorm?
Bloodstorm, yeah.
Yeah, so he went on to do Bloodstorm, and they basically just refused to pay him. So right now, anybody that tries to recreate that cabinet can't do it because they don't have the rights to Daniel Pesina's likeness because he needs to get paid.
You know, couldn't they just take the basic artwork like they've been using for years, and they could put literally any other character on there?
It's tough. Console Fanboy knows more than any of us, believe me, and it will have a dragon. And he agrees as well. Pay Pesina, LOL. Just like Console Fanboy and my friend Zohar, I also have a signed Daniel Pesina art piece in my arcade downstairs. So, yeah, I agree. Pay Pesina. Let's get him on the cabinet. And it's the tough thing.
I agree, but
it's the tough thing with Arcade 1-Up. When they do recreations of these arcade cabinets, like, you want them to be as accurate as possible. So that's the thing about Frogger. I love Frogger. I love the idea of Frogger. It's not accurate. And there's one final thing. It has this really weird Vaseline filter. Like, it doesn't have a clean screen. It has this filter over it, smoothing filter, with no option to turn it off.
I've got one of those too.
Moist.
Moist filter. That's what we're going to call it from now on. The horrible arcade 1-up filter. Yeah.
So that's on the chopping block. What else did you say you were going to get rid of? Just that?
Nothing. I have
just that for right now to make room for Mortal Kombat.
No, I might not get Mortal Kombat. I don't know. It depends on where everything goes.
You'll get it.
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say. Mage and Ian, we don't know. No one knows. But I mean, like, obviously there was a big breakup there, and like we talked to Daniel Pacino about it, and like he basically said, like, you know, they just wouldn't pay him. They were done with him. They wouldn't pay him. So of course he went on to do Bloodstorm. It seemed like he was pretty upset and looking for a new opportunity. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I really hope, just like Guns N' Roses, they can make up and we can get a Mortal Kombat crab with accurate art on it.
But God, that feud's been going on for
I know
40 years, 30 years or whatever, and then it's unlikely, right? I would assume.
Jaster is right. Most 3DO games eventually did go to the PS1, but one didn't, and that one is Sewer Shark. So still the definitive edition of Sewer Shark is on the Panasonic 3DO. Or
everyone loves 3DO.
I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty
Gex. Good. I played Gex on my 3DO. I think it was the only game I played on my 3DO before I bounced it.
Most important 3DO games at the time were Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That was the best version of that. Road Rash for the 3DO was amazing. And Sewer Shark. They're my three.
Yeah.
Dan Z, Michael B, did you know you can play as Grandpa in Simpsons Bowling 1-Up? I did know that. I don't know exactly how to do it, but I did know that.
You'll stick a fork in your light socket.
They're all making fun of me here because they say I'm going to buy the Mortal Kombat Online cabinet. I probably will. I'm not going to do this again.
There's no probably.
Except what you're going to do, and don't sidetrack.
Just know.
Hey guys,
you just start saving.
I'm going to buy it
now. Put it in a little fishbowl.
$2 every day, and it's bought by when it comes out. So
we all know.
I know.
Look, Larry, we gotta add another room on. I got these cabinets coming out.
Yeah.
Shit's getting hard at the bank.
Do you still have Golden Axe? Do you have Golden Axe?
Yeah, I do have the Sega Golden Axe cabinet. It's right next to my Outrun, and it's fantastic. I don't intend to let that one go anytime soon.
Oh, Golden Axe? No way. Not until they release the third Mortal Kombat cabinet with the MK4 artwork on it.
I don't want that. They are releasing a new. They are releasing a new Mortal Kombat cabinet next year that has Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 art on it. That's pretty neat.
When are they going to make an arcade 1-Up where it has sliding panels on the side where you can just get kits and just slide them in and then slide in the marquee and then change in the board? Like,
Why would you do that when you could just sell stupid people like me a brand new cabinet with the exact same games on it and just new art?
I mean, you're right. You're right. What was I
Good
thinking?
point.
To save space.
Yeah. Are they planning? I don't, you may talk about this. Are they planning to do any more like kind of sit down cabinets, kind of like they did with the Star Wars? Anything like
Jurassic Park?
No.
Any racers or anything like that?
They did the sit down Star Wars, and then they did their first racing cabinet that was Outrun, and they did it in a sit down version. They also had a stand up version. I bought the stand up, but I also bought the sit down. And the problem with the sit down and the way it's done is it's just too damn small. Like you're on the floor, like basically playing like a kid. They need to figure out if they're going to do a sit down cabinet, and eventually they're going to have to do a sit down cabinet. Like when they release like San Francisco Rush or Daytona, you're not going to be able to do those as stand up cabinets. They're going to have to figure out a way they can flat pack something that's a little bit more ergonomically friendly and a little taller. Because what they had previously done with the sit down cabinet was junk. It was too small.
How tall is the sit down cabinet compared to the regular 1-Up cabinet?
Half
I mean,
size.
you know what I'm saying?
No,
it's lower down, higher up, same.
It's lower down. So what happens is you don't get the riser. So you've seen the arcade 1-Ups in store without the riser. Like remember when they first came out? Yeah. How friggin' small they were? That's how big it is.
So they should just basically make a riser that's a sit down riser. You know what I'm saying? Like you could buy that separate and just. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's what they should do, and then you can put the cabinet right on top, and boom, you're probably at a normal height.
Zohar, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Happy holidays to you too, brother. No problem. Happy to support you, and always feel free to reach out to me for anything. Sorry I can't always get back to you right away, but if there's something you need, feel free to reach out anytime, brother. He's a good dude. Big Mortal Kombat fan. Probably the biggest.
More than
Quality.
Chris?
Huh?
More than Chris? You have Mortal Kombat fan more than Chris? Chris likes
Yeah,
Mortal
There
Kombat.
probably are. There's some out there. I'm sure they're way bigger than me. I'm only like 230.
Yeah.
There are
And
people that are probably 300-400 pounds that like Mortal Kombat.
I have to apologize as well. The sit-down outrun cabinet is perfect for me. Some people are totally fine with it, but it wasn't universally accepted. Let's
Like
just
you're
say
like
that.
6'4" though, right?
I'm not
7'3".
6'4". I'm 5'10". 5'11". 5'11".
6'11".
5'11".
Yes.
Yeah.
I do outrun in real life.
How many kilometers is that?
Oh yeah, Stu actually races real cars. That's what he does now. But
Yeah.
you've been posting more game stuff lately on your Instagram and
Well,
arcade
yeah,
stuff on
I
your
think he's
Instagram
posting it
again.
to show off the CRT, not the game.
That's because
That's
I'm
my
waiting
theory.
I'm waiting for car parts, and in between then I'm playing games. So plus I
Because
took
you
this
got
week
like
off.
games
so
in the garage too, right? You got your
Yes.
garage set up.
I do.
So
I
you
do.
still have two real arcades. You have
I have a Neo Geo Big
yeah.
Red and a Naomi Multicade, which is for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 specifically.
Sweet.
Ooh.
Big guy.
There's a big rumor that Arcade One Up are working on getting Marvel vs. Capcom 2 coming
That'd
out
be cool.
next year. And
That'd be
if they
real
do
cool.
have it, it's going to have online functionality,
Ooh.
which means if you pick it up, you could be beating the shit out of people all across the world.
That's a big
Yeah.
draw for there's a particular Dreamcast emulator that everyone uses to play online, and that's the reason they emulate that game is so that they can play online, and that'll be
Yeah.
big.
Is that the same thing they use for the Phantasy Star servers too? Do you know?
Probably.
Because they still
Probably.
play Phantasy Star online.
Yeah, there's only a few places you can play. Yeah.
I only have my Dreamcast set up, so I use the web browser.
Yeah.
That web
2.0?
browser is terrible.
No. Huh? No Flash.
No Flash.
Yeah.
Not a bit.
Yeah,
No.
there were certain websites I just couldn't go to.
Specific websites or
Art film.
documentary
Art
films. Art films. I always say documentary because
Versus.
art films.
Jaster says, I have a sit-down outrun. Never bothered me. Then again, I can't see myself playing it. There are some times where I do miss sitting down while playing outrun. I feel like I should be sitting while playing it. Like I'll play even from a stool with one leg hanging down. So one leg's longer than the other one. And I'm using one leg on both pedals. I wish there was some in between, right? I wish it was just a taller, larger cabinet that I could sit down at as well. But I will say I enjoyed sitting down and playing it until it got uncomfortable. It's great for kids. Like it's 100% those sit down racers are awesome for kids, not so much for adults.
Is it like those little tyke carts?
It feels like it, yeah.
I guess that shines the light on my concern for these cabinets. Like, like I'm always like, but they're so tiny. You know what I mean?
I
already have back pain because I'm like almost 40. And
Well, you showed the freaking Arcade 1-Up Juniors.
Yeah.
What kind of video game lineup do they have for those? I mean, is it like Leapfrog, Stat? I mean, what kind of games are they having for the juniors?
Yeah, so the Arcade 1-Up Juniors, I don't think they're going to work. I think they ended up getting overpriced. I think they were a good idea if they could sell them cheaper, but where the world went nuts, they had to sell them at a higher price than they intended. And what happened then was they had a Pac-Man one with a couple Pac-Man games on it. And then they also released Paw Patrol. There was supposed to be some more, but they never came out. Paw Patrol was original concept gaming, so I think that they're like flash games based on Paw Patrol that might have been developed specifically for the cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stringer Films, now available on the Dreamcast browser. We're gonna make that a thing again. I'm gonna do an episode on the Dreamcast browser.
I like playing the Dreamcast browser because on one of those you can play that weird puzzle game. You guys
What
know what I'm
one's
talking
that?
about? There's like a puzzle game on it, a stock puzzle game with a little swirl. Dreamcast, maybe chat knows. Any of you guys play that Dreamcast puzzle game that comes on the browser? Somebody has to.
I never
Anyway,
did.
because
I
you
didn't
get
use
it.
the internet.
You what?
I didn't use the internet back then, so
It wasn't on the internet. It was just built in onto the browser.
I didn't play around with that. I just played.
Gotcha. It's
You
like
know,
So
Dino Crisis.
So they've got Killer Instinct coming out next year. That's going to be the next big online fighter that we know.
That looks really cool.
It does look really cool.
that looks really cool.
It does.
that one's actually a little bit taller too, Chris. They've taken now like I don't know if you saw, like I've talked about Tron and the what is it, Arcade 1-Up, Street Fighter 2 Big Blue. They found a way to make them taller now. They've added extensions to the side panels. So Killer Instinct's going to be taller, and the control panel height's going to be taller too. It's going to be about almost a foot taller. I don't know if it's that much, but just about a foot taller, than 10 inches taller than the regular control panel. So it's going to be higher with a higher control panel. So that might be more up your alley.
I might feel better. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't. It's not Mortal Kombat though. So
Well, the Mortal Kombat one's probably going to be taller too. Let's see what happens. There's also rumors they're coming out with a Pro line this year as well too.
That just means they're regular size, or what?
What? Yeah,
We
I'm
don't
saying
know.
eventually is what it's going to be. Is they're going to eventually loop around, and there's just going to be full size arcade cabinets that are $1,000 a pop with what you want, and that and then Mike's going to sell all the cabinets and get nothing but.
No, you're not gonna do that.
He will if they make them full size. You watch.
He'll buy one or two.
Stringer Films with another $2 super chat. Nude photo hunt. I don't know what he's talking about.
Well,
Moist.
I guess it's my time.
Are you taking it off?
Not yet. I'm not drinking, so
Yeah, it is
Probably-
Monday, I guess.
I'll probably stay clothed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And it's cold in the house. We got all the way down to 40 degrees. So
Stu, this is a question for you. If they do come out with a Pro line, like you're a guy that has real arcades, is that something that would interest you? If like they were full size, they have real controls, probably like Sanwa, Hap, IL sticks, better buttons.
Depending on the game, I mean, one that I would buy right now if they made Arcade 1-Up would be like a House of the Dead.
Yeah.
Arcade 1-Up. That would be bought day one. I'm like, that's just a great game. I could go through the whole conversion of my Naomi cab and add the guns and potentiometers and all that stuff. But if they just made one deal, that'd be perfect. Because
I think
I'd love to
Lightning
have
games would be a huge draw anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's something that we all miss.
Yeah.
Mhm.
With the exception of hunting, the hunting game, but
Oh yeah,
Buck.
there's Big Buck Hunter. How
But-
was that done?
Big Buck Hunter and Golden Tee were done for exactly the same reason. If you've gone to a bar when you were in college, those games were there. So what Arcade 1-Up was thinking is how many guys out there have like man caves that probably aren't going to go drop like $2,000-$3,000 on a real arcade cabinet,
no, it
but
makes
would
sense.
pay $600 to go get like a Buck Hunter or Golden Tee from their youth and throw in their bar downstairs, right?
But
Well-
give us a House of the Dead.
No, Arcade 1-Up prices right now, they're getting pretty much on par with real hardware.
To
They are
some extent.
$500 or $600 for like a Street Fighter. You can find a cab. Well, depending on your area, you can get a Street Fighter cab. You can get full-on arcade cabinets for that price. In my area, I mean,
Yeah.
some
Not in my
people's
area.
Yeah, I mean, but the
you're
prices
paying
are-
more than normal too, Mike, right? Because aren't they a little higher in your aren't the cabinets a little higher there?
We sometimes depends on the company. Like Arcade 1-Up's usually pretty good in terms of conversion. Like I'll give you an example. I just bought the Tron cabinet here, which the bundle came to $769 Canadian, but in the US, the price for it was $699 US.
That's a lot.
So I know it's a lot, but here that means that honestly, when you work out the conversion, we actually paid less for it here in Canada than people in the US did for it.
Yeah,
That's weird.
I know, but
Interesting,
we did, right? That was one of the other reasons why I jumped on it. It wasn't as expensive here.
What happened to
In
the
my mind.
$2.99, $3.99 price point that they originally had out?
They would have stuck, I think, at $3. If they stuck at $3.99, I think they'd be in a lot better than what they were positioned for selling some of these cabinets. I think that was the goal. I think if they didn't anticipate a price increase this year, the idea was to go up $100, so it was going to be $400. No, $4.99. That was their max. But what happened was then with the pandemic and like raising prices on. And it's not just raising prices on like parts, but it's also raising prices on shipping that they ended up having to raise the prices up more. Not because they had to, because they'll break even, because they have a very specific profit margin they had to make. So that was why they ended up raising their prices.
Yeah, it just seems they're just raising it a lot. I mean,
Well, but they can also get away with selling one cabinet as opposed to two, and probably get close to because people are still buying. They're probably not having a hard time.
No, like I'll give you an example. Like they thought Tron probably wouldn't be a really hot seller for them, but Tron is an online cabinet, and like I played my first game and I was number 730 on the leaderboard. So they sold at least 730 Tron cabinets at around $6.99 a pop. So I mean, figure out the math on that.
That's whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at Jason M's comment, and he said CRT problems, motherboard issues, dirt and filth, harder to repair, yada yada yada, which just popped up right now, and that's totally true. And I guess the cost difference is equal to you could buy an arcade one up and have everything set, and not necessarily have to worry about it versus the old stuff. But
unless your Tron stick doesn't work like mine and it's unplayable,
that's an easy fix, though, Mike.
I know it's an easy fix, but
a couple plugs.
But you replace a CRT in a real cab. That's
I know.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pain. I mean, the CRTs, not everybody's into them. Not everybody can repair them or whatever, but learn by doing, I guess.
Yeah. Well, but not everybody wants to, and I guess it is nice to have something right out of the box, ready to roll. It's like Mike used to hate us for PC gaming because
now I love it.
Well, I love it.
You've learned, but you saw the light. But no, see that, but a console works out of the box. You throw the game in, it's done. You don't have to install other things, and if anything goes wrong, you don't, what's going to go wrong outside of updates that happen anytime you turn it on. Apparently, but a computer, there all kinds of craziness could happen, and you got to learn how to troubleshoot it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sean P brings up a good point here too. Arcade one-ups weigh like somewhere between 75, 85. They're up around 100 pounds now. I mean, like a real arcade cabinet, you're like, I want to move it into a room. I'm going to call 9 guys to help me move it now.
Yeah.
But like a arcade one-up, you're like, I'll just take it off the riser and move it myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's good. I mean, it's a good point. And the small form factor is kind of a fun little niche thing. It is kind of fun.
Yeah, that's what the thing was with Arcade 1-Up. It's easily accessible. They're smaller. You can move them back and forth, and you want more room versus larger traditional cabs. But I guess if you're trying to go for a real arcade and all that stuff, then obviously you have the room for the big ones. So whatever, it's pick your poison. There's nothing wrong with either or. It just depends on your situation.
I remember seeing a Neo Geo cabinet that was small, just like that, like 8 years ago, many years ago, in a pizza place, right? Me and my daughter went and ate pizza. She was like 3, my oldest, right? So this was like 8 years ago, and I'd never seen. This was a legit cabinet. This was not like a.
Yeah, there's a mini ray.
Yep, that's so. So that obviously this kind of thing has been around for a long time in some form or fashion. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It was interesting.
It's the cabaret versions, which are the smaller guys.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. It was just a neat. But I guess there's this draw for the small form factor because let's face it, not everybody has, another house below their house that they can put an arcade in,
or isn't a robot and doesn't sleep. But I mean.
Or who knows, right?
Full-size basement, go nuts. Bedroom, game rooms, hell no. That said, I'll be adding a full-size Donkey Kong. I think all of us would, like, if we could.
Full size base and going
Yeah. And that's the that would be the dream, right?
Yeah. So again, the smaller cabs too. Like I'm spaced out right now with 7 3/4 scale cabs. Like if you have a real arcade, I mean, what are you getting? Like 3, 4, maybe in that same space period?
Yeah,
maybe less.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah.
So what's your end goal, Mike? Are you gonna fill up the house, or you have a limit to 20, or what's your what is your rule? Like before you answer that, it's like for my game room back here, I wanted to limit myself to just this room. I wouldn't go outside of it. That would just cut me off from doing whatever I wanted to do. Do you have that rule? Well, apparently not. But what is your what do you try to stay by?
I don't really have a rule. I have a rule now with my wife, who's told me very clear that I've got one room and that's it. She's already pretty pissed off about the amount of space I take up in the house already, because like I've got this office where I've got multicades behind me, and this is where I also have my overflow console and retro console stuff and my PC, and I do all my YouTube stuff. So I have this office space, which I work out of in game. Plus, I have that arcade downstairs. Plus, our family room's covered with video game and movie stuff for modern gaming. So technically, I have 3 game rooms, right? So I'm out of room. I'm maxed out on the arcade one. I pushed everything together as much as I could in my arcade to fit as much as I could. So I'm at the point where now, if I add anything else, something's got to go. So it is just what it is. I'm maxed out. What's my goal? I didn't really have a goal. I just wanted to have a cool mini arcade in my basement, and then I just went a little nuts with it because they kept coming out with cool stuff. And you guys know I have an addictive personality, and I just buy everything. So I don't have an end goal. I don't know where it's going. I got a lot of really fun games I like to play right now, except Tron, because it doesn't goddamn work.
I'm still waiting for you to put a cab in your bathroom.
Well, I'm not going to put a cab in my bathroom. Why would I do that?
Yet. It'll be one of those like the cocktail cabs or whatever that sit on the bar cab, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, well, I'm taking a shit. I got a couple minutes here. I might as well
why is there
get a couple rounds of Pac-Man in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that your plan now is to rotate out. As new ones come in, you'll get rid of.
That's what real arcades do. They rotate out the games that don't play and blah, blah, blah. Why haven't you done that instead of getting rid of them entirely? Disassemble, put in the back of the boxes, put those full boxes in storage.
I'm not going to do that. I would rather, like a lot of times right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm selling some of these to fund the purchase of the next one. So like I can't really justify just having stuff sitting there doing nothing and then spending money that I need for other things. And like that's the point of it. I bought a lot of stuff last year, a lot of stuff. So I've got to give up on that. I've got to build up my cash flow again, and I got a kid coming. So D Snuts says he's lazy. Yeah, that's the reason. I'm lazy. Yeah, selling cabs online to people that have no idea what Arcade 1-Up is no work at all. It's complete laziness.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, baby cage in front of its.
No, but especially as they've released things that were, the Midway cab, the Midway cab, it did the job of 2 or 3 of your cabs, right? So it makes sense. I'll cycle these out, pull this guy in, and it's fine.
Yeah, I did some consolidation,
and it's a good idea.
Yeah, that helped. Like I love my Final Fight cab, but every single game on that cab was on my Capcom Legacy cab, so I could have that. Plus, I get more Street Fighter. Then I got Street Fighter. I have the arcade version of the original Street Fighter that I can play. It's terrible, but it's certainly better than Fighting Street on the TurboGrafx 16 CD.
Yeah, only marginally though. But yeah. But no, that makes sense. And especially as they release more and more of that, and it looks like that's kind of some of the stuff they're doing is more that consolidation cab where they pull everybody together. Makes sense.
Mike Gurowitz says Shopaholics never have an end goal, just getting the next thing. Accurate. That would be an amazing description of me. I am a bit of a shopaholic. I have an addictive personality, and when I get into something, I gotta have everything. I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Never half-ass, always full ass.
Yep.
Always.
You always put the full ass in.
Yep. Well, I got rid of 2. I had 5 arcade cabinets, full size. Now I have 2. I got rid of 3 because I was planning on moving. And you never know how much stuff you really have unless you got to move. Right, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Mike?
yeah.
Yeah.
Even in a small house, you're like, where did I have all this?
Mm-hmm.
Danzy asked me, is Moonwalker available to play on any arcade 1-Up? No, not currently, but I'll tell you a funny story about that. One time on the 1-Up Weekly with Retro Ralph there, John D was asked about it, and he said that Scott Bacharach was actually friends with Michael Jackson and Michael Jackson's people. So it's a possibility. The only thing is, what else do you put on the cab? Moonwalker was a Sega arcade game. Do you put just Moonwalker and then maybe Moonwalker, the Genesis game, on it? I mean, it's hard to find out what else.
You put E.T. on it.
Yeah, you put E.T.
Because
on it.
Alien versus Predator.
Get out of here.
Bye.
Alien versus Predator. That was good. That was quick thinking.
Nice. Rest in peace, Michael.
Yeah, I don't know what you. I'm blurry now. I don't know what you would put on that.
Because what's similar to Moonwalker? It's like a
what do you classify that as? Is that a beat 'em up? Is that a? Let me see if that'll fix that. Did I do that? There you go.
Yep.
It was by Sega though, so you can put another Sega arcade.
You can't. That's a weird thing about the way this licensing works. It's like Turtles. They just released a new Turtles. Why didn't they put other Konami beat 'em ups on it? The Simpsons. Why didn't they put other Konami beat 'em ups on it? They're Konami games, but they're not really Konami games. They're licenses that belong to, the Simpsons, Fox. So Simpsons doesn't want Sunset Riders on the cabinet with their game. They want to protect their license. So they only want other Simpsons games.
So
this is where this stuff gets awkward,
right? So let's say
can't even do that.
Can't even do that. Fox.
Yeah, can't even do that. It's weird. I don't get how it works.
Sonic 3.
Well, Michael Jackson unofficially had a part in doing the music on that. That's true.
Yeah.
So
gosh, that's so weird. That is a really like a conundrum.
Let's move away from these arcades for a second.
Sorry,
because you guys, I like arcades, but we don't got to talk about it all the time. What about retro gaming? Are you guys getting anything new retro gaming wise coming up this Christmas?
No, what?
No, I don't think so.
Because there's so many new ways, right? Like you get the Switch with the new original controllers. You picking up anything like that?
Not interested in that. I think it's a ripoff.
Mike bought them all.
I know he did.
They're very good.
Well, I mean, I can take your word for it. I'm not interested. Well, okay, so like, all right, so on that, like in terms of like the expanded whatever it is online stuff for Nintendo, uninterested. I think it costs too much for what you're getting, to me, for what I would get out of it. Because one, I'm not interested in playing Nintendo 64 games. Literally the only Nintendo 64 game I would probably play is maybe Super Mario. Maybe. And that's it. I don't really like 64. I don't like the controller.
Like 5 to 10 games that are good on 64. I mean, that I like, or are they just the main Zelda, Mario Kart?
Do you guys not have a lot of nostalgia for the N64?
I have none.
0.0.
Mario 64, Mario Kart, just the basic ones. I mean, that's as far as my nostalgia goes for this.
No Cruising USA. You don't have nostalgia for that.
Not on 64.
Not outside the arcade. Yeah. See, I didn't have a 64, so I don't really have that. The only thing I had was playing with GoldenEye with a group of friends. When I was in a band, and it just wasn't. It's not worth it to me. I can put that $50 a year toward something I will actually use.
It's $50 a year.
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah. So the online was originally like $20. in the US, and then the expansion pack is crazy. So I'm paying like for the family plan now. I'm paying like close to almost $100 a year here.
Yeah, it's too much for me. We don't do the family plan. We only do, but we all use the same account, so it doesn't really matter.
You all use the same account and use the same Switch. My wife has her own Switch, and we had to get it the family plan because she had what was it, Animal Crossing on my Switch, and she wanted to move it to her own Switch. So the only way to do that was you had to have the family plan in order to move data.
You ain't getting me. Nope.
Nah. No, I'm not interested. But see, like I said, the big reason is I'm if it mattered to me, then I would probably be all over it. But I didn't play the 64 really until much later in life, and I played GoldenEye with friends. Yeah. And I tried to play GoldenEye at my son's birthday party fairly recently, and it was awful. Like the controls were just like, I cannot get the hang of this.
Was it unplayable?
Well, and it's you just think about how far like this took us, like the dual thumbstick, and like how you really realize how playing that and going back to that setup, the control scheme and stuff like that, how far we've come to really figuring out how to do more on a controller, right? And it was just, one, it made me go, wow, we really have come a long way. And two, it really made me go, oh, well, I don't like this at all. This is terrible.
But you can go back to Doom PC at any time and have a wild time with that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Sorry,
anyways,
Mike, what are you going to
say? Twisted Chris says best thing to do is have the N64 with an EverDrive cartridge. That's if you have CRTs. Like Stu, you don't have a problem, but I don't have a CRT anymore. I gave up my CRT. So I've got a Retro Tink, and it looks okay with the Retro Tink, but I mean, you really need like the HD Retrovision cables. Like if you're going to use original hardware, like you really need to do a lot of stuff to make it work nicely on a modern TV. So it's a little difficult just to do it with the EverDrive card. I don't disagree with them, but then again, like we talked about, how many good N64 games are there? Like, I mean, you it's a 300 and how many were the whole library? 360, something like that.
Something like that. Close to 400. I just remember it.
Yeah. So I mean, and out of that, there were 25, 40 must-have games maximum.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What's the lineup that they're releasing on this? I don't even know. I know that
they had the Sin and Punishment, Ocarina of Time, a game called Winback I'd never heard before. They also released
what are you naming?
Star Fox 64? Or no. What's on the online service?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I had Mortal Kombat Trilogy growing up. I agree, that's a good one. That's not on the system though. Star Fox 64, Mario Kart. There's a couple good ones. Paper Mario was released last week.
Have to be on there, right? Mario.
Not yet. They're holding off on those. And here's the extra feature of this. So I've said this before, and I don't know if you picked up on this, and I don't know if it means anything to you, but say for example, me and you both have Switch Online service, and we are going to go in and play Mario Kart. They actually added an online feature, so we can go play Mario Kart 64 online against each other.
That's cool.
See, that's a big
Mario
feature.
Kart 8 online if we really wanted to.
Oh, see, look, there it is.
How much is the normal Switch subscription service to play online, though? Or is that included? Or is that?
No, you got to pay. I pay what? It's like $7 every 4 months or 3 months, or is what I pay.
And then so on top of that, you have to pay another $50 to get the Nintendo 64 stuff.
Yeah. You gotta go up.
F that.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No. You pay $50 for all of it for the whole year.
Okay. Well, either way.
Yeah, so like everybody here is saying like, oh, well, how much is Game Pass per month? How much is PlayStation's terrible service per month? I mean, like when you factor that out, I mean, $50 for a year is not really that big a deal.
I also don't do Game Pass.
Well, see, you're missing out because they have Game Pass for PC.
I don't want to pay subscriptions for stuff. I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that. And I don't know. I guess that's a personal weird thing, but I don't do Game Pass. I don't have a modern console, so
It's
It's because you're a communist, right?
no, it's called finances, Chris. Finances.
right. Well, but no, I don't do that. I don't have modern consoles, and when I buy stuff on Steam, I wait until they're on the dollar menu, and
I do wait till things go on special offers. I won't buy it.
That's it. I mean, there's no point in buying it early anyway. Like you look at the travesty that Final Fantasy VII on the PC has been. The remake, awful.
Side topic: have you guys ever confronted where they're doing like digital pre-orders, but they run out of digital pre-orders? I'm like, what is that?
What? How can
It's
you
so
run out of digital?
You can pre-order a game
That's right.
and you're getting it digitally, and then they ran out of digital. I'm like, what do you mean?
I think some of that has to do with a set allotted number of codes that they have allowed for the pre-order, and they have to, it's stupid. It's like a lot of that stuff. It's like no one's out there like minting copies of it. It's not doing that. They could just literally generate new codes and give them out. But I've seen stuff like that happen, and it's stupid. It's just like the thing with like data caps and stuff like that. It's not like you're running out. It's not like it's stupid. It's stupid.
King Midas is bringing up some good ones. Killer Instinct Gold, WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy. Don't forget WCW NWO Revenge, WCW NWO World Tour. Resident Evil 2, I would rather play the PlayStation version or the remake. I'm going to jump with you on this one, Chris. I would rather play the Resident Evil 2 remake right now, other than I would like to play the original. 1080 Snowboarding. I wasn't a big fan of 1080 Snowboarding. Blast Corps was okay. Perfect Dark was okay.
Putting RE2 on that cartridge, though, was a pretty big deal.
Oh, yeah. It was impressive. It was impressive.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The movie was horrible. I don't know if anybody's seen the movie.
The new one? I haven't watched it.
The movie was so trash.
I tried to watch the original movie on the one with the one that came out like in 2000 or whatever, right?
With Anita Baker? Anita Baker?
I don't know. I tried to watch it and I fell asleep about 15 minutes in. I forgot how bad it was.
It got so bad. Too much action.
Apparently the movies just get worse and worse and worse.
Do they ever? The first one's the most tolerable. The first one's easily the most tolerable.
They just got ridiculous, right? They're literally just Resident Evil name only, huh? Yeah,
it is Resident Evil in name only. It's basically Mila Jovovich movies trying to build up her character, and it just you're like, this doesn't mean anything. They pepper in like Leon Kennedy characters but they just never get it right. And like you got to think about you got to think about the time period too. Resident Evil, the series at the time, was also sliding to a point where it was also becoming untenable, where they were focused on doing more action and stuff like that.
And less horror, which is a bummer.
Yeah, so Saturn was amazing, but very expensive console to buy for now. House of the Dead is $300 just for the game. Complete in box is $900 and up. Yeah, I haven't looked in a long time because I haven't collected Saturn now in about probably 6 years. But last time I saw a complete in box copy of House of the Dead was going for somewhere between $200 and $300 at the time. So
you know how hard it is to hear this, like when I've sold everything off.
I know, I know.
To know I missed the hot spot,
But you never know. You never know with that stuff. You sell stuff when it's time to sell stuff.
That's what I never
go back.
Needed it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I profited. I came out ahead, honestly. I mean, my Rule of Rose, I sold it for $250 or something like that. And that was absurd.
You could have had $900.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. The whole market's nuts right now. It's crazy.
On the original point, I don't really want anything this year, honestly. I'm having one of those years where every year is different.
Only if it's cheap.
Only if it's cheap. I want something. I don't really want people to buy me anything because usually, like, I know what I want, and I don't want you buying me stuff. Wow.
Well,
wow.
Sealed copy. Whoa. Holy crap. Mind-boggling.
Why'd you buy that, Mike?
I if I had $6,000, I'd have a real pinball machine in my house right now. That's the goddamn truth.
Oh, I remember you mentioning that. Are you gonna try to get one, or you can buy them new?
Yeah, you can buy them new. The biggest problem I have is with buying them new is the shipping to get them here, where I don't live in New York still.
Heavy.
So
but you could
we're
drive
talking
to New York, though, right?
No, I can't drive to New
He's
York.
got to ride a
It costs
boat.
just as much. I got to ride a boat for 12 hours, 12 to 18 hours, depending on which port I leave from, before I even then drive for another like week and a half.
You're gonna like the black market trying to cross the border. You're gonna be all dressed all raggedy. I'm trying to get this pinball machine, man.
It's on a quest.
Do you know the coyote?
So there is some pinball stuff here. Like I've got a friend. I can play pinball here, like real pinball. I've got a friend locally. I've known him all my life, and he's the only person here in the province that can fix pinball, and he also fixes arcades. So just when everything slows down with the pandemic, I intend to spend a little bit more time with him. I also met a guy online, this guy Michael Walsh, and he's got a pinball, his own pinball arcade set up in his like man cave garage shed here. So he's got like Medieval Madness, like the real table up there. So I want to go play that because that's a really good one. And I'm going to look around. I'm not going to find anything on like the classifieds here, but I'm going to I'm going to start talking to the collectors and see if I can get something reasonably priced.
I always
That's
wanted that here on Elm Street so bad.
There is one.
The claw,
there is one here locally. My friend Chris I was talking about, he actually fixed one for somebody else. So I'm going to try to figure out if I can get in and play that.
That's a whole layer of that too. It's like the repair and maintenance on those. Oh man, because it's like there's mechanical parts on that. It's not just like a circuit board. It's like there's moving pistons and solenoids and things like that. You got to learn how to use. That's daunting.
So when this is all over, when I don't know if it ever will be over, but when we get to a point where it's safe to like do it, we should finally hang out like we always talked about. And I suggest we go to Texas so we can go to Whataburger, and then we can go to Ken's Barcade because Stu can get us in and maybe get us some killer deals on playing some games, maybe some free play action,
maybe piss drunk too.
Yeah, that'll work too.
That is possible.
Yeah. Oh, it was fun. I mean, yeah, it was definitely fun going down there.
They're finally opening one here. They're opening a barcade. This old place downtown used to be a kind of a trashy honky tonk country bar, and they're turning into a barcade. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about it. I'm excited for it to finally open. So
nice. Yeah. Twisted Chris is in Texas. I should have known that, Chris. I'm sorry.
Which part of Texas? Twisted Gaming TV.
If he's where's Ken's Barcade? Is he in Austin?
Well, Ken has a bar in Killeen, Texas, which is kind of like a small military town, and then there's also Temple, Texas, which is closer to Austin. Yeah. So
he's in Dallas, so I don't know what the distance is between.
I think that's
a
like
big state.
An
Texas is a big state.
In case you didn't know.
Game Chasers.
Oh.
That's a lifetime, man. Lifetime ago. Texas is a big state. They don't that's not in the opening anymore, is it?
No.
I don't know. Sure.
How many cabs you have in your house, Mike?
I have
38.
Nope, I have 17 arcade 1-up cabinets because I still have my Centipede out in a different room. Then I have the 3 pinballs. I also have an iArcade, and That Games Legends Ultimate, and the Legends Pinball. So when you work that out, I have 19 arcade cabinets and 4 pinballs.
Times minimum $600 each.
Yeah.
Plus stools and risers. Brand new car.
Let's just talk about the power strips that took up and how much those.
Oh yeah.
Oh well, I got the power strip issue here too. So.
Oh well, but you've got Shredder's wall behind you too.
Yeah, but see, when I had the wall of retro consoles hooked up at all times, I had more of a fire risk going at that point. I'm going to be honest with you than the arcades.
Yeah, you gotta like almost put special wiring in there at
Yeah.
that point because all that
All
you just
those
need
all
one
those
special-
giant
They don't
like
run
power
hot though.
bricks.
Huh?
Arcade 1-ups don't run hot though, do they? No, they don't.
No, they barely use
Slot
any power
plugs.
at all. Everybody else says that. They're like, "How much juice are you running out down there?" And I'm like, "Very little,
30 volts.
very little." I have 17 Raspberry Pis going at once. Whoopie doo.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that I can't imagine that drawing anything at all. No. You draw more running your lights.
Yeah. Sean P says arcade 1-ups use 15 to 20 watts.
Yeah, so with your count, that's 35,000 watts. That's barely anything, with the 320 cabinets you listed off there.
Nothing. It's nothing.
Hardly nothing.
No,
Hardly nothing.
so I can't convince you guys to start playing on the Nintendo Switch online.
No.
No.
It's muy expensivo.
Well, it's not that it's expensive. It's just a waste for me.
Oh, I only play tutorials anyway, so I wouldn't
That's true.
justify that. Yeah.
That's true.
Stu Go ahead. No.
What?
Stu buys every single game and then just plays the tutorial and goes, "That's a
That's
good
it.
one." Move on to the next one now.
It was great.
Yeah,
No,
I
I was gonna say I'm getting a
little.
little frustrated with the base Nintendo online stuff because I haven't had an update of new games for the Super Nintendo part for a while. And my theory is that they're like, well, we'll do this Nintendo 64 and Sega thing for a while here,
Yeah.
and we'll milk that crowd for some money. Like I'm tempted to drop it now because I'm not getting anything out of it anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't play online, so
there's only so many times you can play Crystallis, right?
I mean, once a year, and I've got that on the computer.
Well, we all got Steam. How come we haven't played Steam yet? I mean, a game on Steam, yet, and that's free.
I don't know,
Mike.
but we
Really?
Timing.
That's-
We do got to play Friday the 13th together, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our main issue is the fact that we're in 3 different time zones, and if Ed had been here, that's 4 different time zones, right? Because he's in Central, so
Yeah. Oh, I
So,
forgot
yeah.
about it.
we got everything
Mhm.
from the West Coast all the way to whatever coast you count Mike as.
He's in.
He's at the
Somewhere.
East Coast.
I'm an island boy.
He's the second East Coast.
He's neighbors with the White Walkers.
That's true. I'm a wildling.
But yeah, no, that would be great. I've been wanting to play that for a while now, but something other than bots. I don't like playing online with people I don't know. It's not as fun.
Is the
lame.
online still going for Friday the 13th? I thought I read somewhere that Gunn was giving up support for it, or was it just support with updates and stuff?
I don't know. I'm assuming it's support with. I can play locally in the house, but that's local, so I don't know. We can play on. Me and my wife can play on separate computers, so I don't know.
Okay, I got an arcade 1-up question. I'm going to answer this really quick. Mike, why do you think there is much little interest in the arcade 1-up cocktail tables? I can barely find any reviews for these things. Will there be a pro line for the tables and the pinball? Cocktail tables, I think that they've just hit the wrong niche with the cocktail tables. I think that they're trying to sell Mortal Kombat. They're trying to sell Marvel vs. Capcom and Street Fighter, these fighting games, on a horizontal screen on the cocktail cabinets. I think that stick with Pac-Man, stick with classic arcade games. Those are the things people want to play in the cocktail tables. I think that they're just trying to push the wrong games in the wrong form factor.
Yeah, they had the Street Fighter Black on the cocktail. That didn't do too well, I'm guessing.
No.
Plus, it was the double screen. The way that it was split, like you
It was
just mentioned,
weird.
it was weird.
I've played on a candy cab. Was like one of the Street Fighters or something. I don't know what it was on a candy cab in a I can't remember. At MagFest one year, they had the back-to-back candy cab.
Yeah.
Where you could, it's 2 players, but it's basically the same cabinet, just separate screens. That was so awesome because you could play. I don't have to worry about you watching my hands, right? And you don't have me. You don't. Same token, you ain't got to worry about me. But we're still kind of together, so you can still kind of shit talk, but you don't have to. I don't know. You had room to spread out your elbows and get into it, and I would like to see maybe something similar to that for like Mortal Kombat. Or if I'm going to do a fighting game, that would be the perfect way to do it. Would be a back-to-back kind of cabinet setup. That would be really cool. But where do you put that? Where do you put that in your house? Middle of the floor?
So like a Nintendo red tint is what you're looking for, right?
Edward.
I can't hear anything.
What's up, Ed?
If you could see my desk, you'd understand why.
So,
No,
Chris,
I can hear you now.
Major Ian just said, "Gun stopped doing dedicated servers," is what the problem was.
So I wonder if does that mean we can still play or not? What does that mean?
Not sure. Twisted Gaming TV said he asked John D earlier today if there was a pro line coming, and he said maybe. It's coming.
Thanks.
That's for the arcade one-up stuff in the pro line.
Sure.
What would it be
Is the price,
like if
price going to be the same?
for the pro
No,
line?
obviously it
No.
would be more. It would be way more.
Yeah.
Not
I got a
even going.
super chat here from SJ Miola Smola. What would it be like if Nintendo ever got into the home arcade market? I don't think they will. I think they're satisfied with just throwing their arcade games on the Switch and saying, "There you go." Like,
Because
I don't
people are
think
going to
they
buy
will.
it that way. People will sign up for $50 a year, and they'll release 20 games, and that'll be it.
I think someone would buy a mini Play Choice or a mini tent for sure.
Oh,
100%.
100%.
Somebody would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Nintendo won't do it because Nintendo are weird and they hate money.
Mm-hmm.
Except for they don't hate money. It's like I don't think their profit margin would be high enough.
Yeah.
You think about how much more you're making just by releasing it digitally, and every goon in the world like, yeah, $50, I'll do that. And I'll buy every controller you release too. I know people that do that. Like as soon as they're like, hey, I want to release the Nintendo 64 controller. And they're like, oh, well, I got to have one. So they'll pre-order 2 of them, let's say.
I think if somebody else manufactured it, and if they gave Nintendo enough money, they would do it. Because from Nintendo's point of view, they wouldn't be losing anything because the people that want home arcade cabinets don't necessarily want to buy it on the Switch. Like, for instance, I don't have a Switch. But if they released a standalone Nintendo cabinet, I'd probably buy it. So it just, somebody else needs to build it so that they don't have to take the hit in development. And then they have to be willing to pay Nintendo a bunch of money for the rights.
There you go.
You said you'd buy one, Ed?
I'd probably buy one, or more likely than not, I'd probably build one. But I'll tell you what, if they built a Sega arcade one-up, if I hadn't already built one, I would totally buy one.
When you say Sega arcade one-up, what do you mean specifically? Because you built one that's modeled after the Genesis. Because they do have Sega arcade one-ups. I mean, there's a Golden Axe, there's a Outrun.
Well, perhaps what I want is not something anybody else would want, so that might not work out so good.
No.
Alex Kidd and nothing else.
You guys seen that Sega actual arcade cabinet, the Mega Play or the Mega Touch that use the cartridges? Ed, do you know what I'm talking about? It's like a super rare cabinet. It's kind of like the
name sounds familiar, but no, I haven't personally seen it.
Yeah, there's not too many floating around the interwebs, but it's pretty rare.
What'd you say it was called?
It's like the Mega Touch or the Mega.
That sounds like a VR porn arcade game there.
Could be.
The Mega Touch.
Sega Mega Touch.
Scott. Anyway,
Chris, whose birthday is it, buddy?
my wife's is the 27th.
There you
And
go.
I did a surprise birthday party for her this weekend. And these are the leftover balloons.
Yeah. It's always tough. I've got a friend, I think his birthday's on the 27th too. So you almost get like knocked out where Christmas is so close. Like it's so hard to have your birthday and Christmas right next to each other.
That's kind of what's happened to her whole life. So I tried to, it was her 40th. So I tried to make a big deal of it this year. So
I believe you mean it was her 21st.
no, she's okay with the number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think she might be lying.
I didn't have a problem with 40. 50 maybe one day. But having a birthday close to Christmas, I think that's a problem for a kid. I don't think as an adult I would mind too much.
That's why they
Because I
have
find the older I get, the less I want people to make a big deal about it.
Well, see, but that's different. Like some people, like my wife's pretty extroverted, so she wants to do something. I'm very introverted. I want people to just forget I exist, and that's fine. But so it's kind of weird because when you want to do something,
You want to get married, Chris?
well, you want to.
I mean, I'm pretty happy staying at home.
Yeah, Battleship's right down the street too. So
Oh, that would be cool.
see,
What's Battleship? What am I missing here?
a battleship, the
Yeah.
USS North
a
Carolina,
Battleship.
the battleship served in World War II.
So Ed, you missed
Yeah.
the big news. Chris is coming back to YouTube.
That's not confirmed. That's not confirmed.
100% confirmed.
if
That's not
if
confirmed.
if Chris comes back to YouTube, I will promise to post at least one video.
Nice.
See, I might be rebranding completely.
Like rebranding how?
Like whole
Game-
new name, everything.
He's gonna be the weekend game girl.
No,
Yeah.
Game Crust. Game Crust.
Game Crust.
Game
Oh
Crust.
yeah, that's right. Because of the podcast.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, you can.
Weekend Game Guy 1.
Nope, taken.
That's taken. And 2 and 3 and 4, I think.
I'm
Yeah,
Weekend Game Guy 3.
No, yeah, I was thinking about rebranding and completely changing it all up.
And then not telling anybody and seeing if we
And then
notice.
not telling anybody and see what happens. Maybe. I don't know.
It'll happen. You can do it.
If you're going to rebrand, why wouldn't you just start a brand new channel and see where it goes from there?
I'm not saying that I'm not working on that.
Because, like, I'll tell you an interesting one. I was talking to my buddy P-Dubs there the other day. So P-Dubs has only been doing YouTube for about 2 years. So you go into your, what do you call it, Social Blade. Like, you ever got on your Social Blade and looked at your stats and stuff? So
long time.
his growth shows him that he's going to be at like 500,000 subscribers in like 5 years. And I say, go in and take a look at mine. If I work for another 5 years, I can make it to 30,000 subscribers. So what they do is YouTube and the way your algorithm works, they identify how long you've been doing it and what your growth potential is, and it affects the way they share things. So you'd almost be better off starting a brand new channel now at this point than trying
That's
to
kind of what I've considered.
Yeah.
It's kind of what my consideration is. If I want to do what I want to do, because what I'm thinking right now is not completely different than what I have done. It's just trying to focus more, I guess, is what I'm saying. You know, focus on a particular audience. Yeah. The USS North Carolina, is that the one you visited? Hold on, I gotta look at this thing.
The
I
what?
don't know. Anyway, someone said they visited the battleship. Yeah. So, you know, it's going to be something a little different, a little more focused, I think. I'm trying if I do this. So, I don't know.
comment here in the chat for you, Ed.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Mike.
CGI.
Other Mike.
Yeah, he's been here for most of the chat, believe it or not. We've been excited to see him. He said he's coming back and making videos again.
I don't believe him.
He didn't say that.
I don't
I've
think so
I've
either.
offered to come back and make videos multiple times if he would do it, and he hasn't done it. So
Oh, yeah. So, Jason M., I live over in Leland. Not to, oh God, now stalkers are going to find me.
What's your
Yeah.
Chris? Yeah, why don't you tell him that? Now tell him your home address and also
And
your
my phone
social
number.
insurance
And
number.
also
Social insurance number.
Social security card deal.
Yeah. social insurance. What is that?
Oh, that's Canada. We call it a social insurance number.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh,
Well,
what?
in the
Social
real
what?
world, we
In
use
the real world, without the metric system.
we just chose not to bend a knee to a queen. So that's why
Zing.
that's why we still use feet.
Mm.
Not because it makes any sense, trust me.
it really is all about stubbornness now.
Oh yeah, it is.
Like, I
As a
think most
person-
people I know believe that the metric system is better, just they don't want to do it because they want to be difficult.
I did I studied science and in college. That was a long time ago as well, but the math is just better with metric system.
Well, easier.
Better. Trust me, there's a point where easier means better. It's just the same thing. So yeah, no, I may make a return come 2022. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to promise anything. It's just kind of I was bouncing around ideas today.
So fun story. The whole reason this came together is to tell people about that for Chris because he's a good guy.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. And whenever I'm ready, I'll give some more official information.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
First game that you cover?
How do you
Red
know it's going to be
Faction.
games?
Red Faction?
Yeah.
No, I want people to keep coming back. So
If you're
the
gonna-
one I want to cover is not much better. So
What is it?
the first game I want to do,
Yeah.
the first game I thought about doing was D.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. On the Saturn.
On the PC, but yeah.
Yeah.
Saturn PC, PlayStation 1. The easiest way to play it now, you can go get it on GOG right now and play it. And it plays
GOG?
good old games. They have a lot of older games, and it's DRM free, and it's like my favorite place. Well, not my favorite, but it's one of the better places to shop for old games like that.
Didn't you
good old games?
Didn't you review that already, or is that just on my video snippet you did the mini review on D?
Yeah, that was just on your video. Well, okay, interesting story. I was in the process. This was back when I did real high production videos. That was going to be the second review I did, right? So I started making castle walls and stuff like that for set pieces. And I mean legit, like I went and made like stone looking castle walls through some set design tricks. And then my dad passed away. And I just never I figured out how to do the invisible predator trick to do the face that comes out at you during different cutscenes in the game. And all that stuff. And
chroma key and all that good stuff.
It was a lot of work. And it was going to be a cool, at least ambitious review, but this will not be as ambitious if I do it that way. But my dad passed away, and I just never, and I really feel like that was one of those moments that like steered me further and further away from doing, it was hard to catch momentum back after that.
You gotta get back on that horse, Chris, and just fucking go.
It's just a different horse. It's going to be a slightly different horse.
Media Glitch, how are you, man? I hope you're feeling better.
Yes. So yeah, I'm just going to try to focus on horror games because that's what I like to play. That's what I play all the time now.
That's a big community though in itself.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit more focused and not all over the board. It's focused in a way because I could still play older games without, I can play old new, but it's just like if there's a common thread, there's a common thread, and I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit more likely to it work out a little bit better in terms of that if there's some kind of focus.
Aliens, Cabed?
It's not done yet. I've got to finish making a light gun for it, which is what this jacket over here is covering up. Like 6 different projects. So, yeah. It's a bit of a mess. I kind of ran down here, didn't have time to clean up all the stuff I was working on, so I pushed everything forward so you couldn't see it with the camera. But yeah, no, it's not done yet.
So that's what happens when you basically buy every single video game that ever existed. Then you move on to projects.
You move on to building your own, yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
It's not enough anymore.
Oh, and while we're on the subject of these cabinets, I would just like to point out, Mike, that you should tell, or maybe somebody from At Games will watch this, both At Games and Arcade 1-Up, that you're responsible, in my family at the very least, for selling for At Games 2 pinball machines, an At Games Legends cabinet, every pinball game they offer for sale, 2 of the control panels for the Legends, and 2 of the, what are they called, VIBs?
Yeah, the VIBs boards.
Just for At Games. For Arcade 1-Up, you sold a Star Wars cabinet, 2 Pong cabinets, and a possible future cabinet that my brother hasn't decided on yet.
Good.
So you have personally sold many thousands of dollars for them.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I don't have some kind of agreement with them where I get compensated.
They just need to keep sending you free stuff, every once in a while, throw you a bone.
I think it looks like those days are done from all those companies actually now. Most of them have moved away from it.
Not buying anything else from them then.
Good.
Done.
Everybody stick to that.
Only if Mike gets free stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of these companies moved away from, I don't know what the term is, but they're not sending out demo stuff as much anymore. Very specific people are getting stuff now. So, and
as
they're
long as
going
you're
with,
one of those specific people, that's fine.
I'm not going to be actually. Well, I never was with Arcade 1-Up. Arcade 1-Up never sent me anything.
Oh,
Active
damn,
sent
why
me
did I
some
buy their stuff?
I know, right?
Well, except the Pong table's pretty awesome.
That Pong Pub. You know what? I had a friend of mine sold his Pong Pub table the other day for $200, and it kills me that he didn't tell me about it first because I would have bought that in a second.
My little brother already got his, and we put it together the other day. A couple of minor little problems with the quality control, but it actually plays surprisingly well.
Yeah,
it is a sexy looking orange and white cabinet.
It is really cool looking, and if I could have had it cheap, I would have one. I would absolutely have one. But I know what you're talking about, the quality. That's a huge problem because there's a disconnect from the communication between where they get these things manufactured to the point they get them to retail. There's no stop at that point to make sure they're in good shape. So
yeah, well, we actually found water damage in his cabinet, and the box was pristine. There was no like break in the box. So I don't know if it sat on a dock somewhere and just the moisture or whatever got to it. But
no,
it was
that happened. That happened in the factory. I have many Arcade 1-Ups that have severe damage that obviously happened in the factory, and then they covered it up with black Sharpie marker. Like, you can't see anything there. Look, black Sharpie, covers up all the damage.
Well, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm not buying anything else from them until they start giving Mike free stuff.
There it is.
Well, that's it. I did talk about you, Ed. Actually, I did a stream on Tron this weekend, and I brought you up. And
I know. I tried to watch it.
So I've talked about it. Like people that buy real arcades, they don't really get interested in Arcade 1-Up until a product like Star Wars comes out, where it's so expensive.
Tron is beautiful looking.
Tron is amazing.
That's the first one they've released that, if the quality control is pretty good, that's the first one I've actually thought might be almost worth the cost because they put so much into it.
Mike loves the control stick. It's his favorite.
My control stick's broken, and I can't get any joy with getting it fixed. The retailer I bought it from, the Brick here in Canada, they're great, but they have this really terrible policy that it's a 48-hour return policy. What I thought was a return policy, but it's a 48-hour policy altogether. You don't they won't do anything for me. So they told me I had to go through the warranty with the retailer, and I did, except the retailer doesn't have any parts in. So basically, I have a broken Tron cabinet.
Well, there's a replacement stick out there that I'm not going to name on here. I'll talk to you about it offline. I don't recommend that one.
Okay.
I had it. I'll talk about it later.
Broke?
Yeah.
What broke on the stick?
For Mike,
is it just
the trigger's going and coming. It's probably just a micro switch, but I don't know how to fix that. I probably just got to pull apart the stick and see if I can solder the micro switch back on.
Well, make them replace it under warranty if you can get it. If you can't, then you dig into it and replace it.
Yeah,
that's easy, Mike. Just take that crap apart and get it done.
Mm-hmm. Let's answer this question.
Yeah, what's your favorite horror game of all time? Retro Beard Din actually asked this to you, Chris, a while back. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, it's fine. Silent Hill 2.
Really? Silent Hill 2?
Yeah.
I did a review on that one, right?
I don't know that I ever reviewed it.
You did a let's play.
I did a let's play. I played through the whole thing. Oh, it's one of those games that I can go back to tonight, and it would be awesome.
That's really interesting to me. Silent Hill 2.
Wow, what would you think? What would you think I'd have said?
Not Silent Hill 2. I don't know why.
Silent Hill 2 is fantastic. I love the Silent Hill series.
Do you like 2 more than 1?
Yes, 2 is my favorite by far.
Because they built more upon it, right? That's what
happened.
And
it was a little more psychological than it was just scary. There's this head game going on there with that, and it's a little more psychologically scary as opposed to just creepy scary.
That's the one in the end where the dog was running everything.
Yeah. In the one of the endings, yes.
Yeah, the dog.
Yeah.
Pulling on the strings.
But now the original Silent Hill, I had some really crazy experiences playing that game, like haunted house kind of stuff happened. We played in my grandmother's house, which she passed away in, and what we would do is we would take the we would take games down there at night because it was in the middle of nowhere, and we played it in the middle, and we would get scared, and we were like, look, I can't play any more of this. Your turn. So we all the group of friends, we all took turns. When we got done, we're laying in the middle of the night. I was like, man, it'd be crazy if there really was a place like that. And I had a little toy piano when I was a kid, and it started playing on its own in another room, and that was terrifying. Real ghosts from Silent Hill came and got me.
Psychological.
True story.
Stu, what's your favorite horror game? You're a big horror, or what do they call them? Survival horror games? Is it horror or survival horror? What's the genre?
Who?
You.
Well, I'm asking you your favorite game, but I'm also asking what's the real name of the genre?
Survival horror, I guess. But I've always liked Resident Evil 2, PlayStation 1, because it just had so many layers to it, you know what I mean? Once you play with Leon, and then if you do something with Leon, then Claire misses out on it, and blah, blah, blah. I just thought that dynamic was so cool. And now that they re-released it for PS4, like, even better. So
it's good.
As for, like, scary ambiance type thing, I'd have to say Silent Hill 1 for me was the trippy survival horror game, because it's more realistic. It's like when you guys watch horror movies now, it's like you want to get scared by a super CGI space alien monster or the dude next door that just has a knife.
Yeah.
Which one? You know what I mean? It's kind of that. What about you, Ed? Oh, Fear was a good one too. I like Fear.
Fear's a good one. Yeah.
Totally forgot about Fear.
Alien Syndrome for the Master System.
Creepy.
No one's surprised by the Master System choice.
Not at all. Not a little bit.
I get told the story that I got it for Christmas one year, and my younger brother Jim and I were up playing it like somewhere between Christmas and New Year's. I don't remember. We were up real late, and we were taking turns kind of back and forth, and I fell asleep on the floor next to him, and I just started having the craziest dreams, and like the music from that was playing in my dream. And like every time the guy screamed, somebody in the dream, it was weird. So to this day, it still like reminds me of that weird fever dream that I had from staying up like 4 nights in a row playing Sega Master System games.
Acid trip.
My favorite horror game experience of all time was when I got The Evil Within, and then my friend Stuart Fishburne told me how it ended before I had a chance to play through it.
That was terrifying.
That was my favorite experience ever. So then I didn't need to play it because I just knew it was.
Saved your time.
You went back and played it.
Well, he probably was
I didn't.
lying.
I still
that
haven't.
probably didn't
really?
happen because he only played the tutorial.
Yeah.
He
actually beat this one.
Nah,
I mean,
no way.
He said no.
The one and only game in a decade that he actually played past the tutorial.
I beat a few games. I just have to really, really be into it. I really like that game. But Mike, I thought you went back to go play it. I mean,
I beat Evil Within 2, and I've tried to go back to Evil Within a couple times.
It was a dream.
Never happened.
I was so mad, and I was like, "Thanks, Stu," and he was just like, "What?"
It's like I can't touch this game anymore. It sucks.
I like that game though. That was a good one. That was
I mean, they added a lot to it.
In the wheelhouse of
D Forte Game Reviews. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. I really, really appreciate it.
Cool. No, yes, yeah. Evil Within, huh? You should play it.
I've got it on Game Pass. You know, that Game Pass thing that you hate because it's a subscription service.
Oh, then you shouldn't play it.
That was like PS3, PS4.
Yeah, when it was right at that. That was the other thing about it too. It came out, and it was really a PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 game that they made work for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't play it until like last year. I played it on the computer, and I liked it. It was okay. It was a good. It had the tone of Silent Hill.
They sold it as like one of the super scary, survival horror games that come out in a long time. Back
there
when
were
it
parts
first came
that
out.
were kind of good.
Yeah. It was also done by one of the original Resident Evil guys too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. It had that. It had the right tones and the right beats, but I don't know. When I finished it, I was done.
What about that demo that came out for PS4?
Silent
Oh,
Hills,
Silent
Hills.
Silent Hills. What
Where
was
people
it
were
called?
selling-
PT.
Yeah, where people were selling their PlayStations for crazy money that had the demo on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a really cool or potentially cool game, you know.
But then they gave a Death Stranding instead, or whatever.
Well,
That's not what
Konami
happened.
pulled the plug, right?
Yeah.
And then we got that game instead
Yeah.
with the
Well,
space
yeah, because
baby.
he had already they were what Kojima and what's his face? It got chummy or whatever.
Norman Reedus.
Yeah, they got real chummy and they wanted to do a game together, so they did Death Stranding instead.
What you guys
Right.
don't realize is Death Stranding is the life story of Ed T1138.
He was a
Yeah.
baby in a capsule. Some dude carrying him in the mountains.
That's right.
Exactly.
How did you know, Mike?
And did you buy an iArcade after? I was looking through our chat earlier. And,
All right, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I bought it.
Yeah.
And then I did some calculations for what I could fit in this room over here.
Yeah.
And then I realized if I bought that, there's no way in hell I could fit the Pong pub table. So that
Boom, bought
immediately went back as soon as the Pong pub table went to what was it, $3.99 or I don't remember what it was. It got super cheap, and I'm like, nope, this thing's got to go back. And I returned it on Amazon. To be fair, they returned it without question. Like they're just no problem return because they hadn't shipped it yet. So I give them props for giving me my money back like a week after I placed the order and not giving me a hard time about it. So I was going to, but it was that or the Pong pub table, and it's real nice.
I understand.
But for the price at $2.99, I wasn't even really interested. And I'll be honest, I was buying the price, but there's enough features with it that intrigued me that I thought it would be kind of cool. The only other thing that gave me hesitation is there is not really any easy modification you can do to it. And if you buy that 64 megabyte model, there's no upgrading at all.
No.
You're stuck with that. And the value of it at that point, because there's no way to add storage that I know of, really dropped.
Yeah.
Because, at some point you're going to have to make a decision. What games do you want to keep? What games do you not want to keep? It was sort of short-sighted, in my opinion, to make something with such limited storage.
Well, the thing is, you actually get your own online store account, and it's pretty easy to take games off and add games back onto the console.
Yeah, I have a major issue with online storage that I'm not in control of.
Yeah. So you and Christian talk afterwards about subscriptions, your online store.
I don't necessarily have a problem with subscriptions per se, but with that particular platform, not knowing where it's going for sure, and then not only investing in the unit itself, but then not having enough storage on it to store all the games I might want.
Yeah.
And if something happens 2 or 3 years from now, which is possible, you're kind of screwed. All those games you purchased are gone.
Yeah, it'd be very different if it was a company like Nintendo that has been around for ever.
I would trust that it'd be there for a while, maybe not forever. If they had something in the contract when you signed up for the thing that would say you can download it to your own storage locate, like that might have swayed me. But yeah, I have some issues with it. But honestly, it just came down to the fact that it was that or Pong, so it had to go.
That's fair. There's a super chat here from Stampede Gaming. Thank you so much. I remember that. I don't know if you guys remember, but a long time ago now, one of the last times I did the big Halloween Havoc, I did a game playthrough of Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation 1. And Stampede Gaming was there with me on the chat telling me where to go place to place because I had forgotten how to play it. So thank you very much, Stampede Gaming. I remember that. I appreciate that very much so.
Tank controls, gotta love them.
I couldn't remember how to play, and what happened was I kept dying like really easily, and I was like, I'm not this shitty at it. And he's like, here's what you're doing wrong. Bam, bam, bam. And
I tell you, that's one thing that the re-releases have really fixed is the fact that they got rid of the tank controls and brought in like normal controls. Because I've gone back and tried to play like on emulation Resident Evil 2, whatever, and really realizing what am I doing?
It's tough.
I've got to rethink how I'm moving, and it's very hard.
Yeah.
Well, people also get stuck on trying to kill all the zombies or all the enemies when you can just run by them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have
So
to kill everybody.
Mike Gartner, you are not going to get any hate from me or Chris here on this one. I can't speak for anybody else on this podcast, but we love Alien Isolation.
Yes, there is
Both of
video
us
evidence
love
of
it.
me getting terrified.
Yeah.
On the intranet.
I watched Chris pee a little.
A little bit. A lot bit, actually. And then trying to go play on my own, like alone, same thing. Still, and I'm
You
skittish.
will get argument from me on Alien Isolation. I actually loved the game, except when I was, and I think I've said this a number of times to you guys, being forced to like climb through that tube over top of the luggage or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Instead of just being able to walk forward when the only thing, it was a suitcase on the floor that I wasn't able to step over.
Yeah.
And it immediately broke the immersion. That, and there was a point, I can't remember what it was, but my son and I were playing through it on the projector behind me, and we got to a point where he was able to go and stand like just behind one of the gunmen and was able to move, and they couldn't see him or shoot at him. It was the strangest thing. So I loved the idea of the game more than I enjoyed the actual game.
Yeah.
I think it kind of falls apart toward the end too, where it kind of changes. It completely shifts tone, and you're like, okay, well, what am I playing now? It's not as stealthy. I don't have to be stealthy anymore or whatever. It's
Yeah.
Are you talking about the point where the androids then turn?
Whoa. Let's not ruin
No,
the
no,
game
no.
for people.
I'm talking about like right at the very end of the
Okay.
game.
You say,
Yeah.
whoa, don't be telling
Yeah,
what's going on.
right at the very end where it's really strange.
Do they
Like how
limit
it
em-
shifts. But I guess how do you end a game like that? You've got to have something happen. So that's what they did, and it works. It works
they
okay.
Do they limit ammo in that?
They limit a lot of. You don't really have ammo per se.
Mhm.
Not really. Very little.
But what you do have is a particular set of skills.
And slow hacking is one
That
of
does
them.
not include stepping over a suitcase.
Mm.
Well, you need a key for every door. You can't just smash through all doors. You need the specific key, and yada yada, like every survival horror game.
Well, I guess that's
You
the
need
point.
A specific like tool to step over a single suitcase on the floor.
Yeah. Well, you
My
can't get that tool because there's a flaming helicopter in front of it, and you can't get
Well, you
to
know
the
what?
helicopter.
If there had been a flaming helicopter there, I'd have understood. You know, or if the suitcase had been on fire, maybe.
The
need
gripe
to
I would
move.
have with that game is the fact that shortly after that, it just became a flood of games like that. Right?
Yeah.
There's 100,000 games
like
now.
Dead Space, and
Well, with
I think Dead
Alien
Space was
Isolation
before that.
Well, Dead Space is, but Alien Isolation in and of itself is this game where you're stripped down to nothing, basically. And you've got to survive against the stalking monster that's going to get you. There have been, since then, so many games because that formula worked okay. And especially in the indie community.
Slender Man.
Good. Yeah. Slender Man. There was
Nights
one
at
that I
Freddy's.
did. Well, that's really not the same, but
Dead
there's
by
one.
Daylight?
No, those are all like kind of games similar to. I did one where you were a kid, a baby. I reviewed a game where you were a baby, and it was the same kind of deal. You had to be real stealthy because there was this stalking monster that gets you. Now that game did it very well. I'll admit it. That a lot of these games they've done it well, but all they did was kind of took the formula that worked for Alien Isolation and said, all right, we'll drop in our assets or whatever and we'll make our version of Alien Isolation. So I don't know. I guess my gripe was that it kind of everybody tried to copycat for a while there.
Well, that's what happens in the gaming community.
Sure.
I mean,
Well, everything.
even Resident Evil 4, like everybody goes, oh, Resident Evil 4 is incredible. But I remember at the time when Resident Evil 4 came out, I was looking at the different bits and pieces, what made it so successful. And they took stuff from other successful games at the time. Like there's elements of God of War in there. There's elements of other stuff. That's what the gaming community does. Someone comes out with a really cool concept or, trick, gimmick. Everybody else starts using it.
Is it worth
Among
it?
the Sleep was the
Is
game
it
I was
worth
thinking
it?
of. Is it worth it?
2-hour
worth it?
podcast. Is it worth it?
There's
Is it
a
worth it?
the Hidden Gem game. Remember the Hidden Gem game, Shovel Knight? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that game. It's a Hidden Gem. It's kind of a hidden gem.
All right, hold on. I just thought of a modern
Super Mario
horror
Jim?
game that I actually got a lot of enjoyment out of. Now, it's just for a short period of time, but for like that 3 or 4 months, I enjoyed the crap out of it. Any of you played the Friday the 13th game on PC?
Yep.
We all have it now.
Yeah, getting people together in my basement here on multiple computers. That game was a blast, and I'm not good at it, and I thought it was going to be terrible, but then I played it and it was awesome.
We all have it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get on that.
Right
We should
before
get
you
on
came
that,
in, we were
for sure.
literally just talking about how.
Oh,
we
were
all
you
need to
really?
play.
Yeah.
Right before
Oh,
you came in.
hey, look at that.
We all want to
Timely.
play together, but
All right.
but our problem is that we all live in separate time zones. Every one of us.
No, you and I live in the same time zone.
You're not Central
No,
or Mountain or something.
I'm Ohio.
Oh, you're just on the sliver of me, huh?
I'm
No,
not a
I'm-
super.
You're
I'm
at
in
my, you're at my
Ohio.
back door.
Like I'm what 8 hours north and like 20 minutes to the west of you.
Way
Well, I
too
need
far
like
from me.
5 energon cubes to get to where Mike's at. So
That's true.
At least minimum.
Green Wop Nini. What is that? I've been so long since I watched the movie.
Ba weep grana weep niniban.
That's it. Bawa Greewa.
Oh God, that's not even close.
wrong.
Well, now I know what I'm doing later tonight.
It's okay. You must not be a TF fan.
You son of a.
Have you ever even watched that movie?
Have
You know,
you
we-
seen
me
the
and my
movie
son,
before?
I bought a movie projector to watch movies in the backyard with,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
and me and my son were out there a couple weekends ago, and we were watching that,
Oh,
and I
sweet.
forgot Weird Al did a song
Yeah.
for that movie. I
How did you
forgot
forget
that,
He he didn't. He
I
didn't
did-
do a song for the movie.
but they used
No.
it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
used to sound one of his songs for the movie.
And it was
Uh,
perfect.
Could be stupid.
Dare
or
to be
whatever.
stupid, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. This is the greatest moment ever.
That was
what
a good movie. Really
what
good
album was
movie.
Dare to Be Stupid on? Was that a Weird Al in 3D?
I don't know. It's over there, but it's too far for me to walk.
Oh, Ed, Weird Al in 3D.
Use the Force.
It's on the Transformers soundtrack.
I have that too on vinyl.
Nice.
Yeah.
Need more of that. Yeah. So yeah, no, I was just blown away. Weird Al, because the kids have really gotten into Weird Al.
Did
And,
your son like it? Did your son enjoy the movie?
Yeah, he liked it. He did. He liked it better than I thought he would. Because sometimes he's a little like, my kids are weird. They don't particularly like cartoons. They always want quote unquote real people. You know, they like shows with live people.
What did you do to your children?
I don't know. My kids are just weird. They've just been like that. Because I'll be like, look, let's watch He-Man. They're like, My son's a little different. He likes anime, and he likes. The other day he had a stomach bug, and he stayed home and watched Silverhawks all day. So that was pretty cool, and he was into that. But he's a little more open to whatever. But the girls have never liked. They've never cared much for cartoons, ever.
Dare to Be Stupid had its own album, which I didn't realize. It was the title track of an album. And there's some really good shit on this too. So, like, there's also I Want a New Duck, Like a
Oh, that's a good
Surgeon,
Ah.
Yoda, George of the
Ah.
Jungle's on this,
Holy cow!
Hooked on Polkas, all the top tracks.
Wow, there's a lot of good ones. That's a lot of
Just-
good ones.
Add it
Yeah.
to your Spotify, Mike.
Not my Bologna, huh?
I actually do. I actually do have a Weird Al specific Spotify. You'll go into it. It's like MichaelB's Weird Al Smooth Shit Volume 1. That's my Spotify Weird Al.
Haven't we banned Chris from talking about baloney?
No. Well, this is
We
in
should.
regard to Weird Al, not in regard to that story I shared. That one time. The self-mutilation story. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
So, still to this day, I think one of the things that reinvigorated my love of Weird Al was Stranger Things season 3, when they do that scene where they go to
So long ago.
what?
Stranger Things season 3.
I know it's too long, but they do this scene where the teacher makes his first appearance in the show for the season, and like the garage door opens while Dare to Be Stupid's playing, and he walks out with the ham radio stuff.
Never seen it.
Oh,
there was only
Chris
2
Chris
seasons.
doesn't watch. You didn't watch season 3 of Stranger Things?
I didn't watch season 1.
I thought there was. Oh, yeah, I seen it. I thought there was only 2.
So, and you've talked to Chris about this stuff before, right? Chris refuses to watch shows that are released all at one point. It's a thing he has.
You know,
Yeah,
I kind of get
like
it.
I don't like that. And like literally everybody in my family will sit down and binge watch a show.
Yeah, I don't like to binge watch.
I will watch one and go away, and I'll watch another one the next week and go away. Stranger Things, I watched the first couple episodes, wasn't for me. I got annoyed with all the intentional tried to force me to watch it because of 80s nostalgia, even though there was a lot of things that don't fit the time period in the episodes. Like they'll have this like Radio Shack radio. It's supposed to be like 1984 or whatever, but that radio was released in 1986.
There's so much of that through all 3 seasons. I would point it out to my kids, and they finally just told me to shut up.
Yeah,
I can't,
Like, we don't
I
care,
can't
Dad.
do it. I get annoyed. So
Yeah,
So-
it drove me crazy.
like what?
Well,
what,
they can't-
what drives me- Go ahead, Stu. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say that a lot of shows that have the older tech, they can't get like era specific because it's not available anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they weren't even trying, Stu.
nah, they just
I
said
got
this is 80ish.
Yeah.
So let's
And-
put it in there.
In
I
their
get it.
defense, most people wouldn't even notice.
No, I'm weird though. I had a lot of Radio Shack shit in my house.
I'm
So-
gonna sell this TV to somebody that wants it on a movie set for the 70s. So as soon as that kicks,
So,
Yeah.
funny story. That stuff actually happens. We have a show here called Hudson and Rex in Newfoundland. It's filmed here in Newfoundland. They actually dealt with my work a couple times because they had wheelchair specific stuff. So they contact their organization to talk to us about it. But my buddy here, Mike Dalton, who's the big IRK fan, he had a real pinball table. He had one left. He had 2 originally. One was that episode 1 Star Wars pinball. He ended up selling that to get his driveway redone. But he had I forget, it was a Williams table, older one. And the show actually reached out to him because they wanted a pinball table for the show. So he sold them his pinball table as a movie prop, show prop.
Hey,
cool.
that is cool.
Just
And then you
never
can say,
got
look,
it back.
that was mine. That right there was mine. That was my pinball machine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Why didn't he lease it to them?
I don't know.
Get that thing back.
I don't know if they wanted a pinball table. I haven't seen the episode because I don't really watch Hudson and Rex. I probably shouldn't say that, but I think that maybe it might have been getting damaged.
I can totally see that.
But they give
It's
you
like,
enough
it's
coin.
like a cops and robbers show, so maybe somebody was getting punched through it or something like that.
So 2 pinball machines in all of Newfoundland,
Destroyed.
and they had to destroy one.
Yep, that's how it works here.
I understand why you don't have any pinball machines in Newfoundland now.
Yeah.
As soon as one pops up, they put it on a TV show and break
It's
it.
like destroy it.
Oh, I'm getting a real pinball machine. It's happening. I've got the itch now. I've been playing the virtual pinball enough to know that I would trade it all for a real pinball machine. That's my
Are you
new.
Are you going to get a brand new one? Are you going to try to get a brand new one from one of those distributors or whatever?
No, I don't know. I'm gonna see what I can get. Like I told you, the brand new one, I'll spend $12,000 on a pinball table, and then another 12 getting it here. That's the way it's gonna work. So
12,000.
They're pretty expensive, man.
yeah,
All right,
looking-
super chats. All right, come on, super chats.
no,
Come on, super chats.
don't do that. Don't do that, please.
You know, in chat earlier before we started the show, Mike's like, "Watch this. I bet I can get $1,000 tonight."
When
Don't
we
say
hit,
that.
when we hit 4,000, Chris
true.
takes his shirt off.
Yeah.
No.
None of that's true.
Please
Get
stop
one
this.
Mike
I'm
will take his
probably
shirt
Mike's
off.
worst friend ever.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, like the pinball tables, I think you can get them cheaper, but like I don't know the real tables, like Jersey Jack. Like if you're gonna buy the pro line, I think somewhere around 14 grand. That's usually what you're putting on. The thing about pinball tables, everybody says though, is they keep their value. You can buy a lot of stuff, and like by the time you get rid of it, you're gonna end up, taking a hit on it. But with pinball tables, they usually hold their value pretty well.
Well,
These
when
new
I
ones.
when I was with Ken down at his bar, we were talking about pinball tables, and there's distributors that sell them between 3 to 3 to 12. So I mean, I guess the shipping's just going to be the big thing that's going to kill you.
Yeah, that's the
always.
biggest thing. Distributors selling new pinballs for free? I
There
don't know
are
about
different
that.
versions of the same pinball games. So you
Yeah.
can, and I don't know what all the differences are, but some of them have like varying size play fields. Some of them have like a generic looking play field it's themed the same, but it's not quite as
It
complicated.
might not have all the bells and whistles that move
Yeah.
and things. like
So
that.
like you step your way up to what I guess the pro line is what it's called.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know that is going to the Midwest Gaming Classic, and there was this one room where they had several versions of the same pinball machine, and they went. I think that one went from like 5,000 to like 16,000. It was ridiculous
Holy
money,
crap.
but you could definitely see a difference.
Jaster, thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate it, but nobody else do that. I don't want that. Chris, don't ever say that again.
Don't be modest,
I was
Mike.
just
Come
joking.
on.
Thank you very much, Jaster. I appreciate the
But
super chat.
but for
brother.
my pinball machine, my PayPal is
No, I just want one. I'm gonna figure it out. Like I know my buddy just locally, he basically got shipped in a Ed, you would know about these because you're at Games Legends Pinball. He's got a ghost house and a black hole here. So I'm really excited when the pandemic slows down to go try those real versions.
Have you ever played? I've never played a real ghost house, but I've played the real black hole.
Yeah.
They had one at Cedar Point up the road, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. What's the virtual experience like compared to the real experience?
Well, all right. I understand why you say after playing them, you definitely want a real one, because I've always wanted a real pinball table.
Yeah.
And I thought that maybe this would be enough to satisfy me. It just makes me want a real pinball table even more.
Yeah.
But I'm done. I'm not going to spend several grand on a pinball table. If I find one cheap, maybe.
I have a WWF Royal Rumble pinball machine I got on eBay years ago.
We have a pinball place here that's actually closing down, so they're actually doing a local auction that's just dumping so many pinballs.
see.
Mike,
I'll drive right over to.
Yeah, they're just because they can't afford to be down in it's like in an international district, so the rent's going too high. So they're like, all right, we can't have these anymore. To the wind. So some people are just gonna pick them all up.
It's awesome.
Local bar, yeah.
You should be one of them.
I don't need a pinball though.
Why don't? Like, seriously, I don't.
There's no tutorials for me to beat.
Mike, what's your ideal pinball machine? What you want?
Oh,
You
you
can
asking
have
me?
one, just one. Yeah. No, the other Mike. No, seriously.
I didn't.
I'm just joking. The one. If you could only have one.
For sure, if I could only have one, without ever playing it, just based on
That
the
giant Conan pinball machine.
No. Only one without ever playing it, not knowing how good it is Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's the one.
100%. Nightmare on Elm Street table. But of the pinball I've played, more than anything else, it's Attack from Mars. If I could buy one table,
that's a good one too. That's a great.
I know I like that pinball. I want Nightmare on Elm Street for a different reason, just because I'm a big horror movie fan.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I've played the table, and it's fun. It's a fun table.
Is it as good as Attack from Mars?
I mean, to me, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, to me, it was. I like it. It's novel. There's the novelty of the special claw flipper. It's fun. It's a fun table. The Addams Family table is a fun table.
I like that one a lot too.
It's a fun table.
The Addams Family is universally regarded as like one of those must-have for.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's really quality.
Have you ever heard of Spooky Pinball, Chris?
Can't say I have, no.
They just made a new Halloween pinball that came out last year, and it's pretty incretible. Yeah, it's awesome. When you get done with this, go look up some videos of Halloween pinball, spooky Halloween pinball. Yeah.
Someone please make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre pinball.
You gotta get one of those ad games things now that you can play them all, right, Mike? Did that give you the itch because you have that pinball thing and now you want a real one?
Yeah, well, playing that and the arcade one-up pinballs is what did it. Like, I put more time into that now than I do even my arcades, believe it or not. pinball has become pretty much the number one go-to of all
way
the stuff
back in
we
the
do.
day. I mean, this was back when you guys, we all first met. I wanted to make a digital pinball machine, and I saw people using, TVs and stuff and making it as the
me
play
too.
field. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I could totally do
All
that.
right.
And then,
I got an idea for you, Stu. I
What?
know why you need to go to that pinball auction. You need to buy the Addams Family pinball machine, rip all the guts out, and turn it into a virtual pinball machine.
No, you can't do that to Addams Family.
Just cannibalize them all. Just break
just
them
tear it all out.
and
Tear it all out.
put a
Throw the
nice
stuff in the
LCD
garbage.
in
That to
there,
Addams
yeah.
Family.
Put a couple of
Yeah.
TVs in there, and you could make a tutorial on it.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Why would you do that to Addams Family? That's not the right one.
oh man,
People
and
do
Oh,
that
I'm-
to arcades.
I'm
all the
sorry, I
time.
meant Nightmare on Elm Street.
you could
No!
send you could send pieces of it to Mike in the mail, like the mafia, every week or two, and just
Well, like
demand-
every episode, you just cut a new piece out and put it in a
Put it in the
box and
mail.
mail it to Mike.
Although it would cost him $300 to mail it to Mike.
That's
I
true.
don't.
It
I don't
might be
doubt.
worth it.
I don't doubt
Maybe.
that people have already done that with pinballs.
Oh yeah, they for sure. That's one of the
100%.
ways that I've seen it done.
100%. Like I just did the at
Why?
games.
The box is the easiest part to make.
I know. I just did the At Games Build Your Own Legends Season 2 competition, and one of the contestants actually got disqualified because he was using a real pinball machine that he just threw a TV in for his build. And they were like, you didn't build that. You just used a real pinball machine. He's like, yeah, I just had it sitting around the house. What does it matter? So,
Just had it sitting around the house.
yeah, so he used a real pinball machine, apparently.
He's like, I'm a genius.
Well, see, the
Yeah,
nice
the
thing,
box is
$300
the
price
easiest
limit.
part.
when
Yeah.
I first looked into it, that was when flat TVs were still like heaters, and there were all these tutorials about like airflow and setting up fans and da-da-da. I don't even think you'd have to do that now. Like, TVs are razor thin. You wouldn't even have to debezel them or nothing anymore like you used to have to.
Yeah.
And oh man, it really, it would definitely be doable, more doable now than ever. But where do you put that when you live in?
Well, technology is a whole lot smaller now. You can put a whole bunch of stuff.
And with a retro Pi, man.
So there's a couple products out there. I don't know if this would interest you or not, but like Toy Shock, they have a pinball product as well. They have a full-size, 3/4 size table. They also have a like tabletop virtual pinball table coming out soon, and the screen is pretty big. It's like an 18-inch screen for a tabletop that's big. So that's an option, like for people that are room challenged. And Well Played did a tabletop pinball. I don't advise buying from them just yet. We'll have to wait to see if that company comes back. They're the Zachariah games, which are good. Zachariah is pretty good. Ed knows that. But the problem is they promised a digital portal where you could add more games, and the company just hasn't grown enough to do that, what they promised. So I would stay away from that. But the Toy Shock makes a pretty decent product, and if you can get the digital pinball pretty cheaply,
It's cool. It's one of those things, like if I had the space, I think I would rather have that than one of the cabinets. I'd
Yeah.
rather have the pinball. I think I would.
I like pinball. I like it a lot.
I do. And, well,
Yeah.
my kids, my son, Connor likes anything that has
Yeah.
video game anything, and he loves playing pinball. And
Give him a Tiger handheld for Christmas.
Yeah, he might change his mind if he played one of them. I'm getting an R Zone. With the screen on this. Did you see that? Remember those?
Yeah, I've got one right there.
So, anyways, guys, I apologize. I made the stream go super extra long because Ed joined us, but I don't want to keep everybody all night. Like we've kept these people almost 2.5 hours now, so we can still hang out. But why don't we say goodbye to these guys and
We can
let
do
them
that.
have a great night? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us and staying so very, very long tonight. Really appreciate it. If I'm not online again before the holidays, have a wonderful Christmas. Have a wonderful holiday season, whatever you celebrate. Have fun with your family, friends, everybody. Be safe, be responsible, and we'll see you guys in the new year.
We hope.
Happy holidays.
Later.
And when Chris starts up his new channel, he'll tell everybody and go subscribe.
We'll see.
All
We'll
right.
see.
Anyways, night, guys.
Night.